engage over start Cadillac now, and you can see my teammates.
Welcome to the NARAS Cup Series here at Talladega for our final race before our 2-week break. As you can see, we are currently in practice here with Jordan Parker leading in the times. I am joined by Tyler Jones.
Hi, how's everybody doing today? Owen, thank you for having me in the booth again, brother. It's always good to be out here on the track on a beautiful Saturday.
And obviously, we're going to have a lot to cover here today with the chaos that is Talladega. I got to remember how many laps we got tonight. Let's take a look.
I think we're roughly near like 95 laps. I think it's about 32 a stage here.
Yes, you're right. So stage 1 will be 30 laps, stage 2 will be another 30, and then the final stage will be another 34. So pretty much this race is going to be split into thirds. I've been given no info on how long a fuel run is, so I really have no experience with that.
Truthfully, over the week, what I was hearing, it kind of seems like there's going to be less likely of major fuel runs during stages. They might be able to finish a stage on just one tank, which would be their starting tank.
I know that's what the Fords did at Daytona, is they just sat in the back for that first stage, stayed out longer than everyone else, and made it to the end of the stage on one tank of fuel. So you may see some people try that same strategy here. I don't really know. I think it'll kind of come down to what people are more comfortable with. Stage 1 probably will be the longest stage tonight, if not stage 3, because stage 2, you're going to kind of burn into that a little bit with the caution laps. So you're really going to have to see what happens there. So as we are closing out practice, we're going to start heading into qualifying here in a second. Jordan Parker leads practice with a 49.14 second lap as he's going to wreck his teammate at the end of practice. Alright, so cars are off the track. We are now going into qualifying here at Talladega. Pretty simple. You put your foot on the floor and you turn when you need to turn. And that's kind of how it works here. So we're going to see who does what here in qualifying. Right now we're with the 51 of Caleb Hess. As well as we have a few people on track. Nick Tucker actually looks like he's going to be the first one out in the Interstate Batteries 54 car. He is new this season, driving for David Callahan. You can see the rookie stripes there. Made official for all rookies this season. We are no longer testing them like we were last week at Kansas. Now every single rookie is required to run the rookie yellow stripes.
And I truthfully think, it's a good addition because it kind of gives you that heads up when you're on the track. Hey, there's a new driver in front of me. Let me not be too aggressive on him in these corners. Kind of let him figure out what he needs to do. And, I feel like that will kind of fix the problem with wrecks here and there coming into these corners.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully after the last few weeks, there will be a little bit of, people getting their act together. I know there's been a lot of incidents at Kansas. The big kicker was Auto Club. Auto Club, I think, was the one that was, kind of warranted, okay, something needs to change. Right. So what did happen after Auto Club is we now have 2 new race controls. We have Joshua Hahn and Jordan Otten, who have stepped away from racing to help call these races and allow us to kind of get these penalties out during a race and not afterwards. So, and then I will have Joshua Hahn in my ear letting me know how the penalties are going. And I do have confirmation now. Fuel is 33.8 laps, so basically 34 laps. So you will be able to go an entire stage on a tank of fuel. The real question here is, especially for the final stage, what happens when you go to overtime? As Nick Tucker here is actually going to complete his first lap. He's under the apron, so this lap will not count. Per NARAS rules, you're not allowed to go under the apron here. So we're going to ride along with the 51 of Hess. You can see him staying on that top side compared to Tucker, who ran the bottom for his first lap. We'll see Hess likely migrate down here as he goes across the line. You'll see him migrate down as he gets towards turn 1. Actually, no, it looks like... Oh, sorry, this is his first lap here. That's not what it told me. So you'll see Hess rip this top side. Tucker still in first right now. Like I said, that time will get disqualified because he was under that apron.
Yeah,
So
hopefully
really
that doesn't hurt him too bad there.
Likely will, as he's actually, looks like he's actually pulling out of his second lap, so maybe it's slower. So Nick Tucker will not put down a second lap, and likely will start at the back of the field after cutting the apron during qualifying. We're now going to look at Matt Bryant here going for his second lap in the 14 car. And he's going to stay behind that 54 of Tucker here with a 52.7. I'm trying to take a look here to see anybody still trying to finish their lap. Mark Morton here. I think something's up with my...
Yeah, mine seems to be off a little bit too, right?
Yeah, my SDK seems to be like a lap ahead of what they actually are on for some reason. Oh, you know why? It's because Talladega has the weird front stretch start-finish. So they're coming out of pit road and crossing the line. So that's why. So my apologies. I'm not the smartest person here. Let's take a look at Caleb Hess going to finish his second lap now. Currently in 20th, 9/10 behind Nick Tucker. After his second lap, he will go to P5. Right now, 900ths behind the 54. Really, we all know that's P8 currently because of the incident with Tucker. Parker goes to P2. Actually, that was his first lap. Looks like he's not even going to go for a second lap here. So a really strong first lap from the 9 of Parker. As we're actually seeing some of these guys who ran the bottom on their first lap, they were faster than the guys who ran the top the first lap and then dropped down. So they're only needing to do one lap on qualifying.
Yeah, when you run that bottom through and through, once you get out onto the track, it is a lot faster on that first lap. Yeah, and really only that first lap. With that second lap, it just kills your tires and wears them out too much. You really can't get nothing on it. So it's actually shocking to see that not many people went with that strategy and kind of held that yellow for their qualifying to try to, push them in that top 5.
As we are going to head into the warm-up, the drivers and the race control and league owners will hop into the drivers' meeting, and we will move into the national anthem.
we are the brave. We'll fight to rename the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save this land of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say, just that star, spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free, and the home of the
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. After the national anthem, we do have a few things to cover, especially after qualifying. The 54 of Nick Tucker, as we said, will be moved to the back of the grid after his qualifying infraction. Once again, he was under the line when he crossed for his lap. So, you know, kind of a big deal, but as a rookie, you know, maybe that wasn't explained to him before qualifying started. I know he had some issues with that last season, especially with new people. I mean, I think I did it, and I had driven it. Or no, sorry, I missed both Talladega races. I lied. I did it somewhere. I think it was the second Daytona race I did it on accident. Whoops. So, yeah, so the 54 of Tucker will receive an EOL. We're still waiting for practice to finish right now. It looks like we've got still 14 minutes to go here. So just kind of waiting right now for this to finish so that we can get some warm-up laps in. This is the first week of the new warm-up process. So we got a bit of time to kill here. So I was given some key notes. I have gone over some of it during qualifying. I will cover everything once again. So rookie stripes, like I said earlier, will come to NARAS in a full capacity for the first time. We didn't have it last season, obviously, because it was season 1. Everybody would have been a rookie, and that wouldn't have made sense. So yeah, do you have anything you want to cover? I believe he may be taking a step away right now. So, following, once again, our other keynotes, as I was given by Jordan Parker. Jordan Parker's only top 5 came at Daytona this season, another SuperSpeedway. He has failed to finish on the lead lap of every race since then, so looking for a little bit of redemption here since the end of Daytona.
Sorry, I'm back, Owen. I had technical difficulties.
No, you're all right.
But yeah, touching base on Jordan, like you just said, you know, tonight, he really needs tonight to be his night. He's had it rough the last 3 weeks. You know, his team has kind of been trying to put that effort forth to bring him along. I think France was really remarkable in his debut for Jordan, but you know, Jordan kind of has to dig deep tonight with his good starting position so far, already in line 2. He just has to hold it tonight. So hopefully we can see a redemption arc from him.
Yeah, and he desperately needs it. I mean, he's still third in the points. Actually, I'm going to pull up the points here for y'all right now. He's still third in the points technically. Actually, I believe he's second now as he jumped the 88 of Mason. So he's still really good in the points, but he's 86 points behind the leader of Lucas Lewis, because Lucas has finished in the top 5 or top 10 of every race, and Jordan just has not had luck with him for the last 4 or 5 races. But the big thing for Jordan is the fact that he's shown up every week, and some of the guys behind him have not been able to do that. And that's the reason why he's in such a good position right now. But if you get enough winners that are below Jordan, essentially everybody who wins other than Lucas right now is below Jordan in the playoffs. So every new winner bumps him that much closer to the cut line, and that's something that Parker wants to avoid. So he needs to make sure that there are some repeat winners. We've not had one yet this year. However, we did have a part-time winner in the 96 of Tanner Sidden. So, actually, did we have a part? This is round 6. Yeah, okay. So we have not had a multi-time winner yet. So obviously Trent and Tanner Sidden are not here today. Trent Sidden was not able to make it and is expected to be back for the patriotic race at Charlotte in 3 weeks. Whereas Tanner Sidden will not return until the week before Christmas. Once again, like I said, he is a part-time driver, so not eligible for the playoffs even with his win. Anything you want to look at playoffs-wise? Do you think anyone under the cut line could go in and anyone above the cut line could go out?
I really wouldn't say it's too early to call. Obviously, you know, if you're under the cut line, if you've been in this situation before, you kind of understand how it is. You've got to dig deep. Every mistake kind of gets the best of you, and the closer you get to your deadline, the more reckless you can kind of become. It just depends on the driver. I feel like we could see a big situation where an underdog that was under the cut line can come up, and I mean, I've seen it happen before. If you are determined enough, you can practically push yourself all the way to the final race of the season in contention for the championship.
Right, and I think the big thing right now is the fact that, I mean, right now you see Christopher France there. He's only made one start, and he's 17 points below the cut line. So he made a lot of points. Actually, I believe he also ran at Auto Club. So he's made a lot of points in 2 races to a point where he's right there on the cut line. So that's a big deal for him. And, you know, like we see here, if I look at the points here. So Parker is actually 3rd in the points with Callahan in 2nd. Callahan is 20 points behind the 11 of Lucas Lewis. So quite a gap from those 2. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at... looks like drivers are on track now with warm-up, so we're going to see if there's anybody I can follow. Looks like the 51 of Hess has been strong in the recent races, but really just hasn't had the ability to close out. I believe he had some computer issues at Auto Club. He might have had computer issues again at Kansas, or he got wrecked, or one of the two. So it's been time after time that Hess has not really been able to close a race out. Then you have the 55 of Burns, his teammate, has been kind of quiet, but at the same time you see him up front quite a bit. He'll start really well, but his struggle really has been the long run. Well, that's not really a threat today to him, so this might be one of his better chances at winning here today. You also have the 56 of Ryder Morgan making a part-time start for Tricon Garage. That 56 is a part-time car. He did run last week at Kansas, but was involved in the first accident and did end the race pretty much the entire race laps down. You also have the 22 of Brandon Broadfoot making his debut here with RFD. That would be Corey Rainey's team. As well as you also have the 2 of Terry Weiland for the same team. Looks like they're all running the same car here tonight, actually. So that's going to be great for me and not confusing whatsoever.
It's going to be fun the farther the night gets
I'm going to start confusing them so much, it's not even funny. You have Dave Stinson, your Daytona 500 winner here in the 33 once again, in the Cheerios car. You have, like we spoke about, Christopher France. Run 1 or 2 races for us. He's currently 17 points below the cut line and chasing playoff eligibility after the first driver of the 24 in Lucas Lewis was actually fired from that position and taken on to the Tricon team. Corey Rainey, your Atlanta winner, looking to win once again here today, as he's sort of kind of been, I guess, out of the picture the last few weeks. Had an accident at Kansas that took him out of contention after running up front all day. So really just kind of looking for a clean race here. He doesn't need the win as much as he needs the points, but extra playoff points could not hurt Rainey's chase for the championship right now. You got anyone you want to cover currently?
To be honest, I've been trying to pay attention to some of these new guys we've got that I personally haven't seen, like Mark Morton in that 8 car going out there. I'm kind of interested to see what he could lay on the track tonight. I mean, he has, I believe, a grid position of, I cannot tell actively. I think this is off. There we go. I'm trying to get it correct. It looks like he has a grid position of 16, but with the draft pack tonight, I don't really feel like that qualifying time is really going to make a difference. I'm trying to, keep eyes on someone that has kind of been under the radar tonight because it is a super speedway. At the end of the day, super speedway is really anybody's race.
And someone we haven't seen for a while, except for the super speedways, is the 3 of Carden Hansen. Returns from last season. He really only runs a few select races. Super speedways seems to be what he favors. So we'll see what the 3 can do tonight in that machine. As well as you also have the 09 of Isaiah Fox. I believe we saw him actually flip at Auto Club. And he is still with us. So he is running again tonight after that incident. Which was probably the craziest incident we've had all season. You also have the 48 of Darrell Klotz for Parker Motorsports. Looks like he's tailing along the RFD Ford Mustangs currently. We also have the 41 of Joey Beam returning once again here in the 41 machine, as well as the 15 of John Lewis returning after a few weeks, or returning for the first time since Auto Club, I believe. I do not believe he was with us for Kansas. We also have the 5 of Christian Mullen in the Mountain Dew 5 car. Once again, another driver for Parker Motorsports. Just trying to get some laps in right now with his teammate of Christopher France. Trying to see if there's anybody that I've missed that's on track right now. Oh, here's the 11 of Lucas Lewis here in the McDonald's 11 car. Current points leader. Had some controversy around him. Obviously, like I said, was fired from his original team at Parker Motorsports in that 24 car and ended up moving into the Tricon 11. So we'll see what he's able to do tonight in that machine. He's been close a few times to winning. Obviously had some issues which were not exactly favored by some people in here. And then obviously you have the 9 of Jordan Parker in the Napa Auto Parts 9 car. So we'll have to see what he can do tonight. Once again, his last top 5 was at Daytona for the Daytona 500, which was 5 races ago. So we'll have to see what he can do tonight. I believe that's everybody on track right now.
While we're sitting here, looking through the list, I've kind of noticed that we have 4 cars that have not showed up tonight and are actually possibly could be looking at a potential to get their charters cut.
Yeah, so it looks like the well, there has been a slight change there. So it looks like the 69 car, the 44 car, the 27 car, I believe the 16 car actually was taken by John Deeds, so I believe that one is safe. Deeds obviously kind of been in and out of the series for a little bit. Really shows up for most of the races, so we'll have to see what happens there. I do believe that 16 is safe, though. So we'll have to see what happens there. So let's trying to take a look here. So, oh, sorry, the 16 is actually taken by Gavin Smith. So
That practically saves one of the chargers, but there's still 3 up right now.
Right, so the 17 may actually be an issue, although I believe that was taken. Looks like Bryant actually is meant to be in the 22 here. So I don't know what did happen to Deeds, actually. Oh, that's alright. That's right. Deeds actually left the series, I think. So, yeah. The 20 of James Parsons on track. Another Interstate Batteries Toyota. for David Callahan. Looks like actually all the Callahan cars are running interstate. Yeah, so the 18, the 54 that we saw earlier, the 20. I don't know if the 19 made it tonight. I'm not seeing him on the entries. Actually, it looks like the 17 is taken, so Marshall Harris will be driving the 17 for RFD, it looks like, although he has not put a lap down. Taylor Auten for Race Chatter, still yet to put a lap down, and Matt Bryant still yet to put a lap down. So not entirely sure what's going on with the RFD camp. Looks like there were some last-minute changes before the race. Right now we are still waiting for warm-ups to finish. We're going to go ahead and pull up the results right now with a minute left to go in warm-ups. Ryder Morgan currently is your fastest in the warm-up. Mark Morton second, David Callahan in third, Caleb Hess in fourth, and Christian Mullen in fifth. Klotz sixth, France seventh, Beam eighth, Rainey ninth, and Weiland, the rookie, rounds out the top 10. So we'll have to see here. Obviously some of these guys were in the draft for their laps. A lot of these guys lower in the order obviously did not have the draft, so they're running closer to their qualifying laps. So
right.
We will really have to see what happens for them here. If I can get my SDK to stop weirding out. Let's go ahead and look once again at the 55 of Gage Burns, looking to make a comeback after a few, I wouldn't say bad races, but I wouldn't say they were great races. I believe he finished third or fourth at I believe it was Auto Club. So he had a really good run there. So just kind of,
yeah, Auto Club was really a great race for him too. He's kind of falling short a little bit.
He really just needs to make his tires. I think he actually had another top 5 at Kansas. If he can make his tires survive a little bit better than he does now, I think he'd have a chance. But you can tell early in a run, he'll run really well in the top 5. He can be into second or third sometimes. But he just burns his tires up so quickly that it becomes an issue for him.
Yeah.
So as
and
we are
that's
waiting,
really the biggest.
No, you're good.
No, that's really the biggest thing with those intermediate tracks. The tire wear is different than your speedways or your very, very short courses. So it all depends on each race. But I feel like with what we've seen, skill set and skill level, he might be able to take it tonight.
And we'll have to see as I pull up the starting order. Obviously, Nick Tucker was sent to the back, so everybody in the odd number positions will gain a spot. So Jordan Parker will actually be on the pole tonight. Matt Bryant in second. John Lewis in third. Levi Lipe in fourth. Christian Mullen fifth. Caleb Hess sixth. Gage Burns seventh. Ryder Morgan eighth. Terry Weiland in ninth. Brennan Broadfoot in 10th. As we take a look here for the second part of the starting order. We've got Joey Beam in 11th. Oh, sorry. Now it's weird. The entire thing is weirding me out now. All right, so Joey Beam's 11th, Lucas Lewis in 12th, Dave Stinson 13th, Christopher France 14th, Carden Hansen 15th, Mark Morton 16th, James Parsons 17th, Brendan Carroll 18th, Corey Rainey 19th, Thomas Adams 20th, and then it will be Nick Tucker 21st, I think there's actually more people. It's messing me up, man. Isaiah Fox 21st, Taylor Auten 22nd, and then it'll be Nick Tucker in 23rd, David Callahan in 24th, who did not take a time. So after the, eighth attempt of doing that, I think I figured it out. I wish there was a way to edit that. That was not my best call ever, but it works. As actually, I don't know if Parker Parker might not have made the, Parker didn't make the start, so he's going to have to start from pit road here. So it's actually going to be the 15 of John Lewis here on the pole for Tricon Garage.
I wonder what had to happen for him to not be able to make that start.
So usually the grid is about 2 minutes. With the warm-up, that NARAS has, it reduces the grid to 1 minute, so maybe Jordan just wasn't able to grid in time. I mean, I doubt that if he's on the pole that was a move that was made on purpose, so definitely interesting for sure, though. So, I mean, we'll have to see here. I don't know if the pace car is pulling off this time. I'd love to see said pace car, but it looks like the 15 and 14 not near it. Looks like everyone's still warming up. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, pace car's going around one more time.
All right. I don't know why they're so far behind it, because I don't even... Do you see the pace car on your screen? I don't see it.
I am focusing on the pace car now, and they've got a pretty good distance between them.
I wonder if the 14 of Bryant and 15 of Lewis are both confused on their positions after this, so not entirely sure what's going on. As now, there's the pace car. So they did have a pretty decent gap from the leaders to the pace car for whatever reason. So, like I said, John Lewis will now inherit the pole as Tucker had the penalty and Parker actually missed the grid. And then you have... Sorry, you're good.
No, I was going to say, I think actively as of right now, they are going to get an alignment, so it looks like the pace car will be off this time.
All right, so we've already had a little bit of action, and the race hasn't even started yet. They have already got me confused. So this night's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. It's super speedway racing.
So we'll have to see. Hopefully they can get a good long green flag run in like they did at Daytona for the season opener. Obviously, Atlanta left a little bit to be desired, especially on pit exit. We did have a few accidents there. I don't think we'll have the same issues here tonight. So we will have to see as we take a look at our leaders going into 3 behind the pace car. Pace car will be off this time so we can start the race. And we'll see who can win the final race until our 2-week break before Charlotte. 94 laps of pure chaos. Most likely pure chaos is about to happen. As actually it looks like Jordan Parker, who got a new button box last week, actually went out of sync and it caused him to miss the grid. So we'll see if he's able to recover here. Obviously he will not have the draft on the race start. As we take a look here, John Lewis and Matt Bryant.
As the green flag is waved and the race is underway.
Looks like John Lewis might get an early lead here. Actually, no, it looks like Matt Bryant's going to have the push from the 52 of Lipe. I'm going to get so much crap for that later because I'm definitely saying that wrong. I'm trying to find a good... As the 14 of Bryant has cleared the 15 of John Lewis, he will go down to the bottom and lead the race from there. Lewis right now in second. He's clear to the top side. Looks like Mullen in the 5 machine is also clear as we await to see what happens next. Looks like that bottom line has a lot of steam early. Looks like only 4 or 5 cars there on the top. Looks like 2 RFD machines linked up together as Morton is trying to bail to the bottom now. Once again, still 5 cars in the top. The 14 of Matt Bryant will lead lap 1 here, as the 15 of John Lewis loses the lead going into the first lap. As it looks like all the RFD cars are now linked up on the top side. You can see them at the back of your screen in those bright, very bright green, very similar looking Ford Mustangs. They have quite a ways to go to get up to the leaders, but since they're running that top line, they're going to have a little bit of momentum on all the straightaways. So we'll have to see what they're able to do if they stay on that top line. They also have the 7 of Brendan Carroll, another Ford Mustang with them, as they actually might leave that 7 out to dry. So it looks like they are going to try to go into business for themselves here. It's actually one of them is going to get lost in the back there as this front pack remains the same and lined up. Looks like the 14 of Bryant actually blinked out for a second. We'll have to follow that later in the race. Looks like those RFD cars, or at least the front 2 RFD cars, the 22 and the 2 are linked up on that top side and starting to get that top side moving. So it looks like the 2 RFD cars, the 52 of Lipe, the 8 of Morton. Is that the 18 of Callahan? It's one of the Interstate Batteries cars. Actually, I believe that's the 54 of Tucker on the top side. As they go into 3 here.
Yeah, that is the 54.
You can actually see a lot of these Toyotas line up on the bottom. It looks like all these Tricon guys have kind of found themselves together here. The only one not in that group right now is that 11 of Lucas Lewis. Actually, no, he is in the back of that pack there. So 4 of the 5 Tricon garage cars are lined up, and the other one is just 1 car away from the rest of that pack. So all of the Tricon garage Toyotas are on the top. It looks like the 22 is going to clear down. Going to get hip to the bottom. Looks like he's going to save it. That could have been dangerous for a lot of the field. You see some of those guys in the back checked up. Looks like they may actually be under threat of losing the draft there. That was the 22 of Brandon Broadfoot. Looks like the 22 or the 52 is going to look for a move underneath the 2 car. He'll clear the 14 of Bryant. Looks like he'll try and go for the lead here as Morton tries to push the 2 around this 52 car, as Morton wants to be able to start to lead his line if that 2 decides to clear down to the bottom.
It looks like Rainey's going to go 3 wide.
Rainey's going to force Morton up, and I think the 2 will probably help Rainey here. Yeah, as Rainey owns that 2 car, so they're going to hang Morton out to dry there. A good move from the 4 to try and isolate that odd man out between them. As it looks like the 8 of Morton's just going to continue to fall back as both RFD cars are now cleared to the bottom, and now they will lead the bottom line. The 52 goes back up to the top. He wants to lead again. He wants to get the push from the 54 of Tucker, who was penalized at the start of this race. He started at the back of the field. He's already moved his way up to 2nd on the top side in 5 laps.
I mean, that's just an immaculate driver right there. 5 laps, went from literally 23rd all the way up to the top 5. You really can't ask for a better start of your race like that, but now he's just got to hold on to that for 2 more stages of racing.
And I think the big thing right now is if that top side can start moving like they were earlier. So you see them kind of starting to stall out. It's actually, they might be starting to get a run here with the 52 getting pushed by the 54 of Tucker. Obviously, you have a Chevy, a Toyota, and then you have 2 Fords behind them of Brendan Carroll and the 12 of Taylor Otten. While not teammates as Ford teammates, they may choose to work with one another, but we really won't know until the time comes. So RFD versus the 2 guys on the top. I mean, they don't really have a team name. So it's just RFD versus the 2 guys above them right now for the lead. Looks like that top side is going to get a run. Looks like the 2 actually wasn't able to get a good push from the 4. So it looks like the 54 and the 52 are clear to the bottom. We'll have to see if they take it. Looks like they will not. The 14 might have been looking for a move 3 wide there on the 4 car of Rainey. As finally the 52 and 54 are going to clear to the bottom. The 54 actually peels back up to the top, then will go back to the bottom to cover the 2 car, as he wasn't going to get the run on the top side. He'll go back to the top. The 52 will block it. The 52 goes back down to cover the 2. Looks like he's going to get...
problem.
Yeah, the 2 got really squirrely when he hit the 52 car. A lot of blocking going on really early in this race. I know some people probably won't be happy with that, as now this entire midfield, you can see them kind of jumble up. Some will dive 3 wide for a second just to make sure they don't hit the person in front of them. And that's when you see the accidents happen. As you see, Rainey actually goes 3 wide on his own teammate here. Looks like he might be trying to make a move. Looks like the 14 of Bryant might try to go with him. Chooses not to. Then he's like sitting between the 2 lanes, not sure what he wants to do.
No, I really think Rainey only went up so he didn't bump his teammate going into that corner right there. And he just didn't really have much time to get back down.
Oh, and he's going to hit the 41.
Oh, hits his teammate too.
And there's chaos on the backstretch. No one is around yet. Looks like the 15 of John Lewis either had a bad push or decided to back out after seeing what was going on, as he's going to fall to this back of the pack with the 56 of Ryder Morgan.
I truthfully can't blame him there for backing up, but that right there kind of cost that high line a lot of momentum and a lot of time right there. That 7 car of Brandon Carroll is really going to have to fight with the 8 car of Mark Morton behind him to kind of make up that lead. Hopefully they're going to wait see if one of them low line cars are going to pop up, see if they could take advantage. I think that's really the only thing that's going to kind of hold them in right now.
I think the big thing is the fact that the 4 of Rainey had this massive run and wasn't able to act on it because he had the contact with the 41 of Beam. And I know Beam has been kind of controversial in the recent races, especially in Daytona. So, you know, I don't know how people will view him. Some people just might choose not to push him, but, you know, worst push comes to shove, you'll push whoever you need to go out and try and win the race. So, you know, we'll have to see if anyone chooses to push that 41 of Beam. And the same with the 11 of Lucas Lewis. I don't think a lot of people trust him right now. So we'll have to see what they decide to do with him. So the 54 of Tucker remains in the lead, the 12 of Otten behind, and the 52 of Lipe behind. Then you have the 4 of Rainey and the 2 of Weiland. Actually, both move to the top. Lipe will cover Rainey up there as well. So Lipe is going to make a move to the top, going to leave the top line, dives back down to the bottom in front of the 5 of Mullen. And then we'll see if he actually looks like the 2 might have gone wide of the 4.
Oh, 14's getting a little loose back there. I think got off that 2's bumper. But
yeah, we'll have to see how that happens. It looks like some of those guys actually I just saw sparks fly for a moment.
Oh, Rainey on the 12
Rainey.
car.
And Rainey got turned. That collects the 12.
That is a huge wreck right there. It looks like I believe Rainey just kind of made a little bit too of an aggressive move. Came down just a little bit too much there. We're gonna have to kind of rewind that and pay attention.
I think the big thing right now is it looks like the 52 actually might have popped into the air a little bit based on right here. We'll have to go back and take a look at what really happened. As we did see a little bit in the corner.
From what I'm looking at, it looks like Terry Weiland, the 2 car, that teammate of Rainey, kind of gave him a shove on that straight, and it kind of got Rainey loose with Weiland's adjustments during that bump going into that corner, which caused Rainey to go down into that.
I'm hitting the wrong. Yeah, sorry. I kept hitting live for some reason, thinking that it was the 1/4 button. So we're going to take a look here. We're going to look at the 4 of Rainey. So he's getting pushed by his teammate in the 2. The 2 is new to the series, may not have as much experience in the car. You see the 2 kind of start swerving around on the back of the 4. It actually hooks the 4 a little bit more than you would have expected. It turns the 4 down into the 12 of Otten. Tucker barely misses out on this. It could have actually ended his night if he got turned headfirst in the wall. Looks like the 52 goes to avoid as the 4 comes back up. It collects the 52, the 14. Then the 52 gets hit back up. And actually, yes, does pop into the air for a little bit. Not a lot of air. So it looks like just those 4 cars right now. It's actually the 51 of Hess starts sliding a little bit there. You see he gets collected by the 33. Oh, once again, Hess maybe not with the best luck. He's going to side slap the outside wall. So it looks like the 11 of Lewis may have also been involved there. It's actually, no, it looks like he was able to save it. So, a good save from the 11. Unlucky for a lot of the rest of the field. So,
yeah, that's very unfortunate. Very early on, I believe that actually happened at around lap 8. You know, we have 30 laps for this stage. You know, that's kind of not what drivers want to do right now. Have to already use a set of tires and kind of hit pit road and lose all of that momentum that they've already gained themselves.
Yeah, and like, I mean, tires aren't really going to matter a lot here because it's Talladega. I think the only real thing that it affects is how easily you can make the move. But still, at the end of the day, it's not going to have that big of an effect on really the drivability of the car. It's not like in Atlanta where, you know, the tires, they'll wear out. And some of that might also be because the next-gen car is completely different. The next-gen car, the tires will wear out. I'm not really sure if the tires are really wore out for this race that we had at the New Atlanta. So, I mean, tires will not be in effect here as much as they were at Atlanta or any other track we've gone to this year other than Daytona, I think. If you wanted to, you could go the entire race on one set of tires and never change them. But most teams will because they can.
Right.
So, just to be safe and make sure they have the tires. And especially if you spin out, you're going to want to put new tires on it. So obviously our first caution of the day is lap 12. Still have 82 laps to go coming to the line, so still a ways to go. We've already, actually, it looks like, I'm trying to take a look here at the order. Looks like the 12 of Auten did make it out of pit road. The 4 of Rainey, the 14 of Bryant, the 51 of Hess are still on pit road. So it looks like they had some major damage they weren't able to fix. Actually, the 12 Auten back on pit road, so maybe just some optional left. Trying to do what he can here. Trying to see if I got... So Rainey actually still is on the lead lap, barely. Hess has gone a lap down. Hansen is a lap down. I didn't see where he was involved. The 52 of Levi a lap down. So a lot of chaos early in this race here. So it looks like we're actually lined up to go green here with our new choose car rules, not choose cone rule. We have a race control literally drive out onto the track, and the drivers will either choose the inside or the outside of that car. And it's a lot easier, and we don't have to check every single restart for a choose cone violation now. So it makes everyone's lives a little bit easier, and just a little bit easier for the drivers to just understand, and keeps us from having penalties later on in the race. So we still have over half the stage to go here. We'll go green with 17 to go for the rest of the stage, so we'll have to see if they can run the rest of this green or if there will be another major accident. We already saw a few attempts at one when, was it the 2 or the 22 that got turned down onto the apron?
It was the 22 that went down.
Yeah, it was the 22 of Broadfoot that got turned down on the apron. Was able to save it, but that could have been a massive accident if he was not able to.
That would have been very early on in this race. I believe we were not even roughly into lap 2 then.
I think it was later than that. There's no way it was that early because the RFD cars didn't get together till lap 3, I believe.
I believe you're correct. So it was just one lap, about 3 to 4. But still, I mean, this is still early on to have a caution. It's kind of not what you want. You know, it kind of breaks your pace, breaks your thought process and kind of your momentum in the race. So it's a little risky here, but with green flag, we are back underway.
As it looks like the 54 of Tucker got a really good jump on the rest of the field. However, that's not really what you want here at Talladega, as the 7 car and all those cars behind him are going to get a massive run on him in the draft. As it looks like the 5 of Mullen actually is going to have a better push through the corner here. It looks like he's going to clear the 54 with the 8 of Morton behind him. They're both going to clear down to the bottom side, and Christian Mullen will take the lead here at Talladega. As they go into 3 here, you can already see that top line falling apart. As that bottom line looks like
really losing speed.
Yeah, it looks like some of them might just be trying to wind the laps down on the bottom, but we'll have to see how racy they get as the stage continues. You see Jordan Parker in the 9 car into 3rd here, ahead of the 54 of Tucker. So we'll see what happens here. Once again, his last top 5 was at Daytona in the season opener. So we'll have to see what he's able to do here at another SuperSpeedway.
Now, too, Parker Motorsport cars, man. I feel like right now it's going to be looking good for Christian and Jordan. They're literally bumper to bumper. Well, they have the 8 car in between them, unfortunately, but they're about bumper to bumper right now. Shadow Racing's only car in the race is literally holding them up from kind of trying to take this whole race over and make it their own right now.
Well, the good thing for Parker Motorsports is the fact that the 8 is also a Chevy, so it's a little bit less likely that he's going to hang them out. At least if he hangs them out, it'll be later in the race. So, because the 8 knows at the same time, if he tries to make a move on this 5 car, the 9 will just help the 5. So for Morton right now, it's not really worth the move. The big thing they have to worry about right now is the fact that the 54 of Tucker and the 11 of Lewis are starting to get a run on the back of the 9 of Parker. We'll have to see what they choose to do there. It looks like the 9 of Parker actually might be trying to go for a move on the 8, You can see him backing up to try and get that run into 3. We'll have to see what he does here if he gets that tow. As you see the 9 of Parker start to close in. We'll have to see what he does here. He actually is going to choose to stay behind.
Looks like David Callahan's trying to make that second line work right now, but no one's really wanting to take it with him.
I think Callahan really just wants to get to his teammate of Tucker right now. Callahan ran the first 4 races with no teammate and finally got 2 teammates last week and picked up Tucker this week. So went from having 1 car to having 4 within the span of 2 weeks. So now he's got someone to work with other than just, you know, whatever Toyotas are in the field. As you see, the 9 and the 5 go to the top side. Looks like they're trying to get around the 8 of Morton. You also see the 54 of Tucker move up. That's going to put Callahan with his teammate. The 9 moves down. The 5 moves down. The 2 Toyotas back-to-back on the top side. Lewis is stuck on the bottom behind the 8 car. Beam's going to follow the 2 Toyotas on the top. So you have the 2 David Callahan Racing Toyotas, and then you have the 41 of Beam as well, all running the top side. Looks like you have the 15 of John Lewis, the 56 of Ryder Morgan, and the 7 of Brennan Carroll also starting to join this top side, so we'll have to see what they can do here this lap. On lap 18, the 2 Callahan Racing machines, I think that's the first time we've seen them together all night, as Callahan's kind of been mired back in traffic. Maybe taking a little bit more of a relaxed approach compared to the 54 of Tucker, who was able to go to the front really early in this race. As we take a look here, going into 3, the Callahan Racing Toyota is still getting a run here. The 5 is clear of both of them. We'll see if the 5 has to make a block here out of 4. Actually, both Parker Motorsports Chevys are now clear. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jordan go block 1 lane and Christian stay down low. As actually you see him get a little bit loose there on the front stretch. As it looks like that top line is starting to dissipate a little bit. As it looks like the 56 of Ryder Morgan did back out and go to that bottom line. So that might be some of it there. The 2 Callahan Racing Toyotas looks like they're looking for a hole down into the bottom line. Tucker finds it. He's able to go to the bottom. Callahan still searching for one. Tucker pulls back up behind the 8 of Morton. Looks like he's actually going to push the 8 of Morton past both the Parker Motorsports Chevrolets. We'll have to see what happens here now that the top side once again has the numbers. Mark Morton ahead of the 5. Coming out of turn 4. We'll have to see what happens here. Morton ahead of Mullen. Mullen gets pushed down to the line. Maybe an awkward push there to the 5. That's going to allow the top line to get clear. I think we'll see Callahan and Tucker move down here into 1. Try and hang this 8 car out. The 8 goes to the bottom. So do both the Callahan Toyotas. So the 41, the 15, the 56, and that 7 car all stuck alone on the top. Mullen went from 1st to 4th in about half a lap, I believe. As we go into 3 once again, the 8 of Morton above the 2 Callahan Toyotas, then the 2 Parker Motorsport Chevrolets, then you have one of the Tricon cars of Lucas Lewis. One of the Tricon cars already taken out. The 51 of Hess was involved in that lap 10 incident. So it looks like these top 5 actually pulled away from the field a little bit. We'll have to see what happens here. The 11 of Lewis might actually get a massive run in this entire field, so we'll have to see what happens here if he's able to manage the gap to the cars ahead of him. This looks like he might be starting to get that run now. Let's see what the 11 chooses to do. The 11 looks for a move to the top. Thinks better of it, actually. Maybe saw the 41 and decided against it. Now only 2 cars on the top side. Looks like the 56 and the 41. Everyone else is migrated down to the bottom. 10 laps to go in the stage, coming to 9. Looks like Ryder Morgan's actually going to go all the way to the top and fall all the way back to the bottom of this lead pack here. It looks like he might actually lose the draft, as everyone continues to run the bottom. Once again, Morton, the 2 Callahan Toyotas, and then the 2 Parker Chevys. The 11 of Lucas Lewis for Tricon. Then you have the 33 of Stinson, the Daytona 500 winner. Lewis moves up to the top, maybe looking for a move. You can see him blinking a little bit. Looks like he isn't going to have the pace. May actually just be backing out of this lead pack for now. This 33 Stinson isn't going to be next to attack this top 5. We'll have to see if he's able to do anything here. I think you may see them sit in this line until about 3 or 5 to go, and then you'll see them all start fighting for the stage win. As there's now 8 to go in the stage as we cross the line, still the same top 5. Lucas Lewis has fallen back from 6th to 9th. You have 3 Tricon Toyotas in a row here, so you have the 15, the 55, and the 11. All lined up together. Then you have the 41 of Beam, the 7 of Carroll, then you have the 48 of Klotz, and the 64 of Adams at the back of the field, or the back of this lead pack. As the top 10 are all going to be fighting for stage points here. Every point that Callahan gets over Lewis, or Lucas Lewis, is going to be one step closer to the regular season championship. Right now, Lucas Lewis holds it by 20 points, but if Callahan can chip away through the stages here, as Lewis has fallen all the way back to 10th, if he can chip away and get 8 points a stage, he can be at 4 points behind Lewis before the end of this race. As we see the 51 of Hess finally off pit road, looks like he might be able to join in with this lead pack here. We'll have to see. Once again, Hess had a lot of damage after that lap 10 wreck. You see Hess right there at the back of the field in the first Auto Group 51 machine. As once again, the top 10 really stays the same here. No major changes. We're still waiting on the first move. It's going to come either from the 54 of Tucker or the 5 of Mullen. Those drivers with their teammates behind them, they're going to be the most confident to make the move because they think their teammate's going to be behind them. They'll follow them and push them up to the lead. That's really what these team leaders really want right now. You see Beam and Carroll once again on the top side, continuing to lose positions. As I think I actually blinked that time. Actually, it looks like the 11 of Lewis might be stuck. Actually, no, he's going to choose the top, then choose the bottom, and then kind of wiggle back and forth for a little bit until he chooses the bottom. He's going to stay with his 2 Tricon teammates there. I think he was considering a move up to that top side and just saw that they didn't have the numbers and thought better of it. As we are coming to 5 to go till the end of stage 1. Once again, Mark Morton continuing to lead the field here. Made his first start in this series last week at Kansas. I think he was involved in one of those incidents that took out several drivers. Looking for a little bit of redemption. It looks like maybe that... I think that was actually one of the... that might have been the 20 of Parsons there on the front of the screen. So they may run into lap traffic here that might play into the hands of David Callahan Racing. As we will have to see. The 22 of Broadfoot 5 laps down after that incident. The 51 of Hess 13 laps down. So his race effectively over. Just trying to pass those who are able to wreck out as well. So Lewis has made it his way to the top side. Looks like he's behind the 7 and the 41. Let's see if that top side is able to make a move here. You see that 20 of Parsons. Maybe able to help his teammate. Looks like he's just going to get out of the way here. These lead cars. You see Joey Beam trying to get the draft off that 20 car. You'll see Beam peel back down to the middle. Parsons will run the top, try to get out of the way. You'll see him actually tag that wall a little bit. Once again, Morton leads, coming to 3 to go in the first stage. Once again, Morton leads, lap 27, 3 to go to the end of stage 1. I think stuff is about to start kicking off soon in the next few laps. Or I guess the next 2 laps. Although some of these guys might just be waiting until that last lap to go for it, but you also have to consider if a caution comes out and keeps you from making that move, because you still have that second pack behind it. You might see them a little bit there in 1 and 2 as the lead pack's on the backstretch there. It looks like Beam and Carroll actually are starting to make some headway on that top side. They only have 2 cars, but Beam is doing a good job of side drafting those cars on the backstretch to try and slow down that inside line. As they're back onto the front stretch now, Morton continues to lead the 2 Callahan Racing Toyotas in front of the 2 Parker Motorsport Chevrolets. The Parker Motorsport Chevrolets no longer able to make a move as the 41 of Beam and the 7 of Carroll on the top side. As you're probably noticing, my co-host of Tyler Jones has not really been able to speak. He is having latency issues right now, so I am trying my best. As Mark Morton continues to lead that bottom side, looks like maybe that top side starting to bail out. Actually, Mullen was able to jump in front of that top line and stalled it out. So now Jordan Parker on his own on the bottom into 4th. Coming to the last lap of the stage here, the last teammates in the top 5 right now are the 2 Callahan Racing Toyotas. So they really have, I guess you could say, the golden ticket currently. They just have to make sure there's no caution behind them with this top side the way it is. Callahan, Tucker, maybe looking for a move on the 8 of Morton. Morton running half a lane up. You can see Tucker maybe a little bit off of Morton, trying to get a run on the backstretch. We'll have to see what happens here. Tucker looks to the outside. Looks back to the inside, maybe. Actually, he will. He'll go to the inside of Morton. Will hang out his owner of Callahan. Jordan Parker is going to slide through on the inside as well into 2nd. Is going to push the 54 past the 8. The 8's going to come down. Looks like he might have door banged the 54. The 9 of Parker trying to push that 54 car. The 18 of Callahan is going to hang the 8 of Morton to let his team get the win here. So Nick Tucker will win stage 1. Jordan Parker 2nd. Dave Stinson 3rd. Looks like Callahan will finish 4th. Burns in 5th for the stage. As that is the end of stage 1. The 2 of Weiland did receive the EOL for the previous caution, so that's why he was in that backpack there. So Nick Tucker will win stage 1. We are going to go ahead and cut to commercial while these guys line up and try and do their pit cycle, and we will interview the 54 when we get back.
Reload the sim, but I don't think that's the problem.
All right, and we are back here at Talladega after the first stage. Once again, Nick Tucker in the 54 in his debut was able to win stage 1 over the 9 of Parker after a late move into 3 by the Callahan Racing Toyotas around the 8 of Mark Morton. Morton actually ended up in P8 at the time. So Nick Tucker will finish in 1st for the stage. Jordan Parker in 2nd, Dave Stinson in 3rd, David Callahan 4th, Gage Burns 5th, Christian Mullen will finish 6th, Klotz will finish 7th, Morton will finish 8th, Joey Beam will finish 9th, and Thomas Adams will finish in 10th in that 64 car as everybody dives onto pit road now. 54 actually looks like he got a good jump on pit road there, was able to get quite a gap between him and the 9 car. So we'll see what he's able to do here. We will interview this. Oh, the 9 actually missed his pit box. You can see it on the top of the screen. So it looks like he may have the possibility of losing some spots here on pit road. We'll have to take a look and see what happens with that. Tucker is off of pit road. Actually chose to take tires. Looks like Stinson will get ahead of Parker. Burns So Parker did lose 2 spots on pit road there that cycle. So not a good stop for the 9 of Jordan Parker there. As we're going to go ahead and grab the 54 of Nick Tucker. If I can find him. Nick, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
So obviously you won stage 1. I believe that's your first stage win and your first race here with us. So we saw you and Callahan together on the back. We were expecting a move with the both of you. But you were the only one able to clear back to the bottom. Were you and Callahan talking about making that move, or was that a last-second decision for both of you?
Yeah, so we had been talking about it for maybe 13, 14 laps before the stage finished. We didn't know exactly where we were going to make the move, but we figured on that last lap we were going to make a move probably off of 4. Then we figured he probably was expecting that, so we made the move down the back, and we both didn't expect him to come up to block us, so... Unfortunately for Dave, I feel bad. I moved down to the bottom, and he just didn't have enough time to get back down there.
Well, I mean, obviously, you were able to take it after starting from the back. You did have the fastest time in qualifying, but your time was revoked. So, I mean, does this give you any sort of confidence for later in the race?
I feel like the car is really good. So, I mean, got to give credit to, Dave giving me a really good paint scheme to put on this car tonight, and feeling really good. We might bring one home tonight.
All right, well, I'm going to let you get back to your call. So good luck tonight, and hopefully we'll interview you later.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, and that is your Stage 1 winner of Nick Tucker in the 54 Interstate Batteries Toyota for David Callahan Racing. As I believe you can see our choose car here. I'm going to see if I can focus on it. Yes. Nope, never mind. We have no choose car still. For some reason. I don't know why. So no choose car. I don't think. So, I don't know. Alright, so the 54 of Nick Tucker, who won the stage, will start first on the bottom. Stinson and Mullen, who both got ahead of the 9 of Parker, actually both chose the bottom. Or sorry. Did one of the people that passed Parker get a speeding penalty? I believe somebody did, because Parker was 4th coming off the pit road. Oh, sorry, no, the 55 of Burns actually got off ahead of Parker. So the 55 of Burns, the 33 of Stinson, both choose behind the 54 of Tucker. The 9 of Parker and the 5 of Mullen both choose the outside as teammates. So we'll have to see how the start goes. This stage will technically be a little bit shorter than the last. They will definitely make it on fuel. Like I said, I was told about 33.8 on fuel, so if you sat in the back of the pack for the entire 3rd stage, you would be able to make it on fuel because you would save probably 2-3 laps over that run. We'll have to see if we're able to stay green here for the entire stage or if we'll have a little bit more chaos like we did on lap 10 of stage 1. We'll go green here with about 26 to go for stage 2. And then from there we'll have another 34 laps to the end of the race. So we will have to see what happens here, as it looks like the pace car is going to make the dive onto pit road. Nick Tucker will control the restart with the 33 of Dave Stinson, the Daytona 500 winner, behind him. As they're going to start heading into the restart zone. Nick Tucker, once again, going to get a launch. Not as big as the one he got the last restart, but it is probably good for him that he does not, as he's going to remain in the lead ahead of Dave Stinson, the 9 of Parker, starting to lose some ground already. His teammate not really able to get to his back bumper. You see him wiggling around, not really able to kind of stay in line and get together. It's actually the 9 of Parker is going to get a massive run on the exit of the corner there, as he's actually going to, they're both going to be ahead of the 54, and they're both going to clear to the bottom here. Morton looks like he might actually be able to follow. No, he's going to get stuck to the top side. So both the Parker Motorsports cars able to make the top work on the restart. Some sort of missed push or something from the 33 to the 54 allowed the 9 and the 5 to get together. So Jordan Parker will lead for the first time here tonight, I believe, on lap 35 of 94. Jordan Parker looking for his first win since Kansas of Season 1. His only win to date. You see Ryder Morgan, the lone car on that top side, until all the way in the back, one of the RFD Ford Mustangs, and that bright green, like the unmissable bright green. As we see the 9 and the 5 once again stay together here. The 9 and the 5 have known each other longer than they've been racing. So a little bit of trust there. Maybe more than you get from your average teammate. You see the 33 of Stinson maybe looking for a move on that 54. Either that or the 54, maybe trying to give the 33 a little bit more air on the nose, trying to get that push from Dave Stinson to try and make that move to the outside of the Parker Motorsports Chevrolets. Once again, you have the 2 Parker Motorsports Chevrolets, the 54 of Tucker, your Stage 1 winner, the 33 of Dave Stinson, your Daytona 500 winner. Then you have the 55 of Gage Burns. You have, it looks like the 4 of Rainey is back from that early incident. He was able to get all his damage fixed. He's now back into the top 10. You have the 09 of Isaiah Fox. You have the 64 of Adams on that bottom side. So a lot of cars, you might not normally see around here. I say that, but the top 6 is pretty normal. Top 7 is pretty normal. So Beam still trying to make that high side work. He was able to get that run near the end of Stage 1, but when the 5 of Christian Mullen went up to that top side, you saw that top line kind of die out and start to fall back there. So we'll see if Beam's able to work the magic again. As Parker continues to lead over his teammate of Mullen. I think they might once again be trying to click some of these laps down. As you see Lucas Lewis in that 11 machine at the back of the pack here. Maybe just trying to play it safe, keep that points lead if you can finish this race. Callahan did pick up, I believe, 7 points on him that last stage, so now the regular season points lead now down to 13 from Lewis to Callahan. So we see the top side maybe starting to form a little bit. As you see the 4 of Rainey start to pull out of line. He wants to move forward. You saw him be this aggressive at Daytona. He'll be aggressive once again here. He did win Atlanta. Once again, another one of our super speedways, so maybe trying to go back-to-back on the drafting tracks. As he's still trying to make that top side work. Looks like it's not going to happen right now. The 09 of Isaiah Fox move into 6 on that bottom side. You have to wonder how long it'll be till people start to trust this top side a little bit more. You're only getting 4 to 5 cars really at a time. We've seen it work with less. We've seen it not work with more. As the 56 of Ryder Morgan's going to cut right in front of the 11 of Lewis in the back. You see that right there at the end of your screen. Is not really sure what happened there. Looks like a miscommunication possibly. It looks like the 4 of Rainey starting to get this top side moving a little bit. You can see the time gain. Looks like the 5 of Mullen's going to go up top. Going to keep that 4 from moving forward for now, but that's going to leave the 9 open to the 54 of Tucker. You have Parker, who hasn't had a top 5 since the SuperSpeedway of Daytona. Nick Tucker, obviously, who we've said a couple times, has won the first stage, going for a second stage in his first season. Then you have the 33 of Stinson, the 55 of Burns, then the 09 of Isaiah Fox, who had that flip at Auto Club, which was a very impressive flip. I rated it like a 11 out of 10. So top line starting to fall back a little bit. You have to wonder if that was the idea when putting Mullen up there at the risk of having Tucker attack. Same top 4 starting to break away a little bit from the 09. Maybe the 09 will get a run here with the 64 Adams behind him. Once again, the 9, the 54, the 33, the 55, the 09, the 64. Then you have the 11 and the 5 fighting for P7 right now. Actually, now it's the 64 and the 5 fighting for P6. That top side maybe starting to make a little bit of a move. You'll have to see here what that 5 can do. You do see a little bit of front end damage on the 5 car, so that might be why that top side is struggling a little bit. You can see the front end of the 5 car is bent in. The 54 of Tucker stays glued to the back of the 9 of Parker. You know Parker's desperate for a win after the last few weeks that he's had. Beam all the way on the top side, maybe starting to drop off a little bit. To see if anybody makes any sort of aggressive move here. It's all been pretty standard right now for stage 2. Looks like we've got about 11 or 12 in this main pack right now. Not sure why the disconnect is happening halfway through the field. Looks like the disconnect is at the 2 of Weiland, the 48 of Klotz. Then you have another gap to the 7 of Carroll. The 9 of Parker continues to lead over the 54 of Tucker. Looks like the top side is starting to fall apart once again. Actually, no, the rainy machine continuing to push the 5. He's going to push him around the 55 of Burns up into 4th. Now going to challenge the 33 of Stinson for 3rd, possibly. Even with just 4 cars on the top side. Just because of the momentum they have around the corner. As Mullen continues to make a move up the field. Once again, we still see this top side continue to kind of, you'll see them pull forward and then fall backwards. It's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like the top line. It just does that. So we actually saw the 09 of Fox dip out, go all the way to the bottom to fall back to the back of this pack. You see the 55 of Burns clear the 5 of Mullen. We'll have to see if the 5 of Mullen chooses to come down. That door is closed. 64 is under the 5 of Mullen in the Ford Mustang. As we come to finish lap 44, 16 to go in stage 2. The top line starting to fall back a little bit. Before maybe overheating a little bit, causing him not to be able to push as much. We'll have to see what he's able to do here on the backstretch to get around the 64 of Thomas Adams. The 4 still pushing the 5. 41 actually seems to be switching between the lane that he's in. I think just trying to find the one that has the best run. You can see the 15 behind the 8, behind the 4, behind the 5 on that top side. The 11 of Lewis now trying to challenge that top side for that position. The 64 of Thomas Adams is clear. The 11 of Lewis is clear. Looks like the 8 of Morton dropped from the top line. He's clear. The 4 of Rainey dropped from behind the 5. Looks like he's clear. The 8's actually going to move back up to the top side. So is the 4. Just trying to get around that 5 car who was damaged. I think that was affecting them, trying to be able to make those moves, as the front end being bent in on that 5 car doesn't allow as much air to hit the nose, and it causes it to kind of pile up on that front nose and not allowing it to reach as high of a top speed. As we continue to see the 54 glued to the back of the 9 car. So we're going to go ahead and do a small run through the field. You have the 9 of Parker. You have the 54 of Nick Tucker. The 33 of Dave Stinson. Then you have the 55 of Gage Burns. And the 64 of Thomas Adams. Then you have them fighting further back. You have the 8 of Morton. The 11 of Lewis. The 4 of Rainey. The 5 of Mullen. The 09 of Isaiah Fox, the 15 of Lewis, and then the 41 of Joey Beebe. And then you have about a 10-second gap to the second pack back here, where you have the 56 of Ryder Morgan, the 2 of Weiland, the 7 of Carroll, the 48 of Klotz, and the 18 of Callahan. So it looks like Callahan really struggling right now for pace. It looks like the 8 of Mark Morton is starting to make a move on that top side. So we'll have to see what they're able to do here. Morton around the outside of the 9, trying to clear. It looks like he's going to lead the lap, though. Morton will lead lap 48, or 47. On to 48. There's 13 to go in this second stage. Parker's going to make a run at the bottom with the shorter distance around the track. However, Morton's going to have the momentum. Morton on the top line getting pushed by the 4. The 5 behind them. Looks like maybe the 41 of Beam behind that. As Rainey is actually trying to get clear. He's not able to. Morton does. Morton drops to the bottom. Now 5 has to push the 4. Mullen behind Rainey. Still a largely Chevrolet front pack right now. It's mostly Chevys and Toyotas. You have the Ford of Dave Stinson, the Ford of Adams, and the Ford of Rainey. After that, you have the Chevy of Morton, the Chevy of Parker, the Chevy of Mullen. Oh, a wreck in the back. The 41 of Beam into the wall. As we take a look, looks like no caution yet. It's got a major hit for the 41. We're actually going to take a look back at what happened there. See it in the back of the pack there on your screen. Looks like maybe, oh, he might have gotten turned by the 11 possibly. Maybe just a bad bump from the 11 when he had to check up. So we're going to go back to the lead here. Looks like that top line is fully dissipated now after that accident. The 5 of Mullen falling all the way back. 11 to go in the second stage. Have to see if anything happens here. So it looks like maybe the 15 of Lewis going for a move around the outside of the 4 of Rainey. I don't think it'll work. Oh, the 64 of Adams goes up the track. The way the 15 reacted, I thought he was going to turn across his nose, but it looks like there was quite a bit of space there. The 15 goes for a move maybe on the 64. Unable to give a push. The 64 loses all that ground that he was able to make up. Likely will not be happy with the 15 machine. As you see now, Tucker trying to run that top line, trying to make some sort of pace with it. 10 to go in the second stage. Mullen will go back to the top. Looks like Lewis will get stuck on the bottom now. As you see, these top 4 have really been on the bottom almost this entire run, except for the 8 of Morton. Looks like the 09 of Isaiah Fox will go down. The 15 of Lewis will go up. So will the 11 of, or the 64. A lot of lane changing in the back. Is actually the 9 is going to go to the top here, trying to go around the 8 of Morton. So Parker around the outside of Morton, or at least is trying to do so. Trying to get the push from the 54 of Tucker, who was able to push him earlier in this race. Parker once again clear of the 8 car, maybe trying to bring the 54 and the 5 with them. Oh, the 5's going to try and clear down. He wasn't able to get there. The 9's going to get a bad push from the 54, is able to hold on to it. The 9 going to clear for the lead. The 5 once again being the parachute on the top side. So this top side likely will fall back for a little bit due to the damage on the front nose of the 5. Actually looks like the 8 of Morton once again looking for a move to the top side. There's some chaos starting to happen at the front of this pack. The 9 went high, goes back low, tried to cover the 8 of Morton. Mullen maybe trying to push the 8 around his team owner of the 9. Because if he can do that, maybe he can file behind Morton and go for a move to win the stage. Looks like Tucker's going to continue to push the 9, though. The 8 in the tops line going to fall back. So now the leader is Parker, second place is Tucker, and Dave Stinson remains in third. Morton still fighting for that position on the outside of Stinson. Mullen on the outside of Burns. Lucas Lewis clear to the top if he wants it, but chooses to stay down low. Rainey goes back up to the top side. So looks like it'll be Isaiah back down to the bottom. Looks like 4 of the... Oh, the 5 of Mullen gets loose, hits the wall.
That's going to cost him there.
Yeah, and he's going to fall all the way to the back of this pack here. As he may even
I just
lose
say,
the draft.
I know I have been vacant this whole stage. I've been having technical difficulties. I think I finally figured everything out. I would just like to say that 9 car of Jordan Parker has been dialed in this entire stage 2. It has literally been his race right now. He is trying to prove his point. He is here, he is ready, and he is not to be messed with.
And I think the biggest thing right now is he's building the trust with the 54 of Tucker. The 54 of Tucker's been behind him for quite a lot of this race, at least while Parker was in the lead. And I feel like it's been pretty consistent. I haven't seen any like really wayward pushes except for maybe when they both tried to clear down, but I think that was more of a a communication issue because they can't be in the same voice call as one another as they are on opposite or different teams, different manufacturers. So really everything they're doing, they're kind of having to read each other's minds for the most part. So impressive teamwork from the 9 and 54 here.
Absolutely. I mean, you gotta tip your hat to the 54 as well. He started in 23rd position at the beginning of this race for dropping under the yellow during qualifying. He has had the lead, won stage 1, and is now in P2, literally fighting when we have just a few to go here to see if he can get that sweep right now for stage 1 and 2, and hopefully see if he can go into it for 3. But I mean, as you can see right now, it kind of looks like Lucas is kind of slowly starting to lose that pack here. Them 4 cars are starting to slowly fall away. Lucas is on their draft, but not really making any distance.
And I don't think it's a really big deal that Lucas really isn't making any distance right now because, once again, like we said, he's within 2/10 of the next car. He might just be waiting for that run with 1 or 2 to go in the stage and try and get around all 4 of them at once. But, I mean, we'll have to see here. There's been a few times we've seen the top 3 or 4 start to break away on that bottom side, and then you see all the cars behind them just almost run through them because of how much of a run they get on either the back stretch or the front stretch. As we already see, Lewis has already gained about, almost half a tenth on him this lap alone, even if he's not fully in the throttle here.
Right, and that's probably his key here because, with only having 30 to 33 laps per stage, he's probably trying to minimize as much fuel is going to have to go back into that car for stage 3. It won't make such a difference on his pit time, but, any second counts.
Right, and I think especially for pit road, while saving fuel is going to matter, I think really just track position, especially on a pit road like Talladega, is going to matter just a little bit more. Just because of the nature of SuperSpeedway racing, you're really focused more on the not the tires. You're really focused more on the fuel, and you're only really saving maybe 1/10 of a gallon, and that's really not going to gain you a whole spot. I think it can gain you a spot if you have a really good coasting time to your box, if you're able to stop in your box really well compared to the guy you're trying to pass. There's a lot more factors than just how much fuel is going to go into that car, but being able to save more fuel is going to allow him to just have a little bit quicker of a stop and maybe allow him a little bit more leeway when it comes to trying to pass the cars ahead of him. As we see the 9 of Parker continue to lead with 3 to go here.
33. Dave Stinson had to shoot low, comes back up, barely missing that front bumper of Gage Burns. But that's going to give Corey Rainey right now that run on the outside lane with Mark Morton behind him. You also have John Lewis following behind him. They are running heavily on that high side right now, trying to make up as much time as possible. You still don't see any fight between that 54 and the 9 right now. Like you said, we have 3 to go. We're about to come around to the line for 2 to go. It's about to get a little bit more aggressive here. The 54 is giving Jordan all he has on that bumper right there, pushing him just a little bit into that corner, but is backing off slowly. You see that high line, Corey Rainey is kind of falling off, but not so bad. He'll probably catch all that time back up here on that straight. They are outnumbered up high, but they are not going to stop fighting. You've got to wonder if Stinson or Burns is going to try to jump up high and, see if they can push that line to the lead.
I think Stinson may, but I don't see Burns going to that top side. I think Burns is pretty married to that bottom line right now. I think he just kind of wants to ride it out and be there for the finish of this race. As they're actually starting to come to the last lap of the stage. As we'll see who's able to win stage 2 here.
This is where you're going to think the 54 might not make his move right now on that back straight. He might have to try to make it on that corner, but you already know Jordan's going to hold this low line, so any move for position 1 to get stage 2 is going to have to come from the high line here.
And you have to see what Tucker decides to do. Is he might try and move to the top once again, but I think if he does, I don't think it'll work out for him, as he might stay to the bottom and decide to push the 9 of Parker. We'll have to see what he decides to do here. You can't make the same move twice. Looks like he might try for a move on the exit of 4 here. We'll have to see what he does. Lewis to the top side of Burns. 2 teammates against each other. Looks like Tucker right now still behind the 9 of Parker. Maybe content just pushing Parker to the win of stage 2. Looks like he will. No, looks like Tucker's going to go to the top. Parker got a bad push. Parker will still win, I believe, stage 2. So I'm not entirely sure. We will have to find out here.
Very close.
We might have to wait for race control for that one. I believe it was Parker based on what I saw. But people tell me I need glasses, so that might not be that true.
As of right now, I'm trying to look at slow-mo. You can see it looks like Tucker barely, and I mean barely.
I'm just trying to see here. So this is coming down the front stretch. Coming to the line. You see Tucker right here behind the 9 of Parker. Looks content pushing Parker, and then I think on the tri-oval here, you see Parker maybe gets a wayward bump from the 54. 54 might have misjudged his gap a little bit. We'll have to take a look here because the camera kind of cuts. You see the 54 get the run here. Gives the bump. Still giving the bump. Looks like he goes for the move up high here. Catches the back of the 9 car. The 9 saves it on the apron. Comes back up onto the track. And they're going to cross the line here. No, so the 9 of Parker is going to win stage 1, or stage 2, sorry, based on what I'm seeing right here at the line. So it'll be Parker first, Tucker second, then Stinson. As you can see here, actually, I could have just waited until the caution cycle went out. But it'll be Parker, then Tucker, then Stinson third, Burns fourth, Thomas Adams will come back to 5th. Morton will fall back to 6th. John Lewis will finish 7th. Lucas Lewis will finish 8th. Rainey will finish 9th. And Isaiah Fox will finish P10. And while Lucas Lewis only got 3 points, it is more than the 0 that Callahan got. So that brings the regular season points battle back up to 16 points in favor of Lucas Lewis. As we wait for the pit cycle here now, the 9 of Parker looking for a little bit of a better stop than what he had previously. Missed his box last time as the 54 of Tucker's right behind him, so looking for a little bit better stop. We'll see what he's able to do in his box. Goes long again.
Oh, went a little bit too far forward. That's going to cost him a couple seconds right there.
And you have to wonder if seeing the 54 cut in front of him does have a little bit to play in that. This looks like Stinson's actually going to get ahead of both of them here. Stinson with a really fast stop. I have to think that's fuel only. But Parker once again loses another 2 spots on pit road. As we are going to go pull the 9 of Parker into the booth here. Jordan, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So, maybe a little bit closer than you'd like, but you were able to win stage 2 over Nick Tucker.
Yeah, he said that he wasn't trying to pass me. He was sticking behind me just because, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of thing for stage 1 and stage 2. Kind of sucks that Christian got hung out to dry, but Tucker was nice enough to let me have it.
So I guess the question here, which I was talking about earlier, do you trust Tucker to a point that you would let him push you on the last lap?
No, absolutely not. I think on the last lap it's anyone's game, unless you have a teammate behind you that's fully committed, like, you know, Mullen or even Klotz.
Do you think Tucker's going to be a better teammate for you than some of these other guys out here?
100%. Tucker was pushing me pretty good. He was gentle on the pushes, and he was easy. I was communicating with him through the race, telling him, don't push me here. You can push me here, and I don't really trust anybody else other than Tucker. But if I had to pick someone over him, it would be Mullen or Klotz.
And how would you rank the pushes from Tucker compared to last season?
Oh, not even close.
Okay, I just had
Not
to
even
make
close.
sure. I had to make sure. Okay.
Not even close.
So, Stage 2 winner. When's the last time you won a stage? Was it Daytona?
Yeah, it was Daytona.
Daytona, I think that was also Stage 2, wasn't it?
Yep, it was.
So, looking for, obviously a win, but I guess another top 5 is really something that you need right now. Just a good finish to go off of for the next races. So, I'm going to go ahead, let you go back into your team channel before I mess up your start. Good luck.
Team 4.
Good luck,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we'll catch you later.
Good
Yes,
luck,
sir.
driver.
Thank you.
As I almost moved him into the wrong channel, he would not have been happy with me for that one. So it looks like Parker is going to inherit the lead. I believe the 33 of Stinson may have had an issue on pit road. Yeah, it looks like he's to the back of the lead lap here. So maybe a speeding penalty for the 33 of Stinson. As we go to start the final stage, this stage actually will also be 30 laps as we are going green on lap 65. Well, I guess we're going green lap 64. We start lap 65. So it will be 30 to go here from the end of the stage, as it looks like maybe the 5 of Mullen. Yeah, the 5 of Mullen up here for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why.
I believe they delayed. It looks like we had Gage Burns, Caleb Hess, and David Stinson go in under that delay to pit. So it might have been a tire strategy. They might have not liked how the car felt under caution, so they probably went in to make a few adjustments to that car.
Right, but I'm seeing Gage Burns right behind the 9 of Parker. So I'm not entirely sure what's going... I'm mainly not sure what's going on with the 5 of Mullen. I'm not sure what happened to
either.
Stinson. So,
It actually looks like Stinson was just parked.
whoa. What for? Well, I guess
Seems
I'll
like
figure that out.
as of right now, race control has just parked the 33 of Dave Stinson. We're gonna have to develop some of that story the later on this race gets.
I'm actually going to go ahead and message Josh now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Because that is kind of... for us, it's out of the blue. There may have been something behind the scenes that we don't know about. It actually looks like they delayed the caution once again. So not entirely... Oh, yeah, Stinson's out. So your Daytona 500 winner of Dave Stinson is now out of this race. He's one of the players in the top 5 early in this race. Oh, it looks like the 33 was disqualified for intentionally wrecking. I'm assuming the 5?
Oh, wow.
Does that happen? I'm not seeing that on the... Oh, that's legit. Okay, hang on. I just saw red.
It might have actually, was that an under caution move?
I'm not
Which would
entirely
make sense.
sure
That
here.
might as well as to why we seen the 5 go back around. Might have been put a lap down because of it, so they were giving him his lap back.
Well, it had him on the lead lap. I think he was going to fix damage. Okay, so we're taking a look here. It's the 33 of Stinson. So he pulls down. And...
Well, it seems like he was...
Oh, he pulls up and wrecks, goes up in front of the 2, hits the 5. That involves almost the 56. Looks like the 51 might have been involved. I'm seeing that the 51 crashed. Seeing John Lewis crash, James Parsons.
Yeah, Terry Weiland seems to win around as well.
That might have been something else, maybe?
Hey, it just seems like the driver wasn't paying attention during choose and just came back up into track.
I was saying the 15 crashed, I believe because he stopped. It's saying that he crashed, so that
Very confusing as to why that would happen under caution laps.
yeah, it's new.
He might have had a situation with his wheel or something that little, malfunction or something. Hopefully it wasn't an actual intentional move. And
So, I mean, race control, based on what I've heard, is it was he was disqualified for intentionally wrecking, is what I was told by race control. Obviously,
seems like I'm trying to listen to radio right now. It seems like he might have actually had internet situations. And it seems like as of right now, they're stating that it was more of an internet than an intentional. So it seems like he might actually be coming back into the race because I just seen.
Yeah, that's different. I've never seen that. That obviously extended the caution by 2 laps.
Hey, it might be the same situation if Caleb has, have a little bit of internet problems and then come back to dominate the rest of the race.
Yeah, but in this case, Hess, they didn't do that weird lap back rule they did at Auto Club. So, I mean, Hess won't come back on the lead lap. I don't think Stinson really has a chance to be back on the lead lap. Mullen is really who got the short end of the stick. He got wrecked in that, and he's got damage. He's going to be at least 1 lap down. So he's actually going to go 2 laps down here. So
he's going to be disconnected way far from his teammate.
Yeah, so it looks like, I believe the 54, the 9. I don't know who the control car is here. I think it's the 9 of Parker, it looks like.
I believe.
Yes, he'll shoot off here in front of the 55 of Gage Burns. He'll actually get a good jump on the entire field, and that's going to cost him in a few seconds. As an interesting extended caution during the stage 2 break, as we are back underway for the final stage of the race, lap 67 of 94. Looks like 28 laps to go here. Jordan Parker leading the bottom. Nick Tucker on the top. Looks like he's quicker than Parker on that top side. Morton also gets ahead of Parker, but we might see if those two both clear to the bottom here into 3. We'll have to see. I think Tucker will. Morton does as well. Or Morton wants to go down. Okay, so they finally cleared down to the bottom at a 4. Morton and Tucker have taken the lead. However, they have such a gap to the 9 of Parker that Parker likely will get another run. I think you'll see him move to the top. Or he might be content pushing this 8 car. So we'll have to see here. 9 still behind the 8 of Morton.
Well, I mean, as we saw earlier... I'm sorry.
No,
as we saw earlier, Jordan didn't really have much of a problem pushing Morton in stage 1 when they kind of got up there, with the help of his teammate Christian. He had them split, but there really wasn't a move. But now it's Jordan's pushing to the outside of Morton, trying to make that second line run. It might cost him here.
Yeah, he's got nobody with him
might be
because
going to the back.
I mean, the closest Chevy behind him is that 48 of Klotz. And it was the 09 of Fox, but I mean they rhyme, it's fine. But he never really had anybody behind him to help him make that move. And I think Morton is content pushing the 54 right now. I think what Parker needs to be concerned with is logging laps. With his current, streak of getting into wrecks, I think Parker really just needs to survive this race. Even if he finishes, 9th or 10th, I think Parker just needs to be focused on having a decent result and being able to say he finished on the lead lap. And that's something he hasn't been able to say recently, and I think that's something that he really should be focusing on more now than, getting second or first even. Considering realistically, if he continues to show up every week and run, he's going to be in the playoffs no matter what. So he just needs to focus on finishing the race right now.
Absolutely. You know, I really thought he might have fell off back there to kind of just jump in and preserve a few little bit of gas, because you know this is going to be what 2 laps longer of a stage than we've had here so far. But as of right now, he has pushed out and is trying to run that second line right now. He only has, I think, Corey Rainey behind him, David Callahan, and possibly John Lewis as well. But I mean, it's really not much help. The 54 of Tucker and Morton, you know, with Burns and Adams behind them, they are toting that bottom line, and they are making headway right now. Still no fight, and of course, I don't think we're really going to see a fight here until we get to the last 10 laps.
Right, and I think the big thing right now is the fact that I've completely forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something about the Toyotas, and then I think it just popped out of my head. I mean, we do see the 50. Oh, maybe a little bit of net cut between the 48 and the 7. As actually they are going to, well, the 48 is able to save it, but that's another one of Parker's teammates that he's unable to work with. I don't believe the 24 is in this pack. He's now, I believe, has actually lost the 48. So he's lost his teammate in the 48 as well. The 5, I believe, is still on pit road. So the 9 has gone from having all of his teammates to absolutely nobody in the span of about 5 laps. Oh, sorry, I remember what I was going to say now. This stage is actually going to be shorter than the first stage because it's going to be 28 laps under green, while the first stage was going to be 30 laps under green. And based on a report that I got earlier before the race, tank of fuel can take you about 34 laps. So these drivers should be good to the end on fuel. However, they may want to save a little bit in the event of an overtime finish. This looks like Parker really just... I mean, you can tell that Parker wants to make up the positions that he lost, but at the same time, he needs to kind of... like I said, I think Parker... Oh, the 56! The 56 almost gets turned. As there's a stack up from the 11. There's a huge stack up
there with Isaiah Fox as well. He connected back with the car behind him, and that almost costed that little backpack right there to have another caution.
Yeah, it looked like the 11 checked up, which caused the 09 to check up, which caused the 56 to check up, and the 56 thankfully did not get turned, but almost did. So we'll have to follow that later on. Obviously the 56, the part-time car for Tricon, does not run the same driver every week, and honestly he hasn't run before this week, so we'll have to see what he's able to do in that car. As you can see, Callahan continuing to be pushed by the 9 of Parker, as we'll see if they're able to get together here. Callahan and Parker, I think, once again, like Parker and Tucker, do trust each other pretty decently, especially after Daytona and Atlanta. However, their racing styles are very different. Parker relatively aggressive, while Callahan's usually pretty conservative. As you see, Callahan decide to push the 64 of Thomas Adams here. As Adams tries to make a move up, you'll see Lucas Lewis move up into 4th in the McDonald's 11 Toyota Camry. Lucas Lewis still looking for his first win in the series. Actually, nobody in the top 5 has won in the NARAS Cup Series. The first winner of the top 10 is the 4 of Rainey, who won at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Then obviously the 18 of Callahan, who won in the late restart at Las Vegas. The 9 of Parker, who won at Kansas last season. So a lot of these drivers who have won are not in the top 5 right now, and I'd argue not a lot of them are in position to win unless this top side is able to get moving.
No, and it seems like every time the top side has tried to get moving, someone jumps up from a low line or someone takes a position, and it kind of pulls a lot of their momentum off. You saw it happen with the 64 Thomas Adams there. He jumped in front of Callahan, and it lost them a lot of momentum. Corey Rainey's jumped up in front of them now, and it seems like he's kind of went back low because he realized it wasn't moving, but not many people are actually dedicating the time to actually stay in that top line and make it work right now.
And I think the big reason you saw Rainey dive low is you could see that 64 starting to get a little bit loose, and I think that Rainey... Oh, we actually have another caution here. Not sure what for. Looks like Daryl Klotz and Weiland. So once again, the 2 involved in this incident. Looks like the 2 went high, then just dives down low and runs the 48, and they're both... Oh, a very nasty hit for the 2 car. 48 into the inside wall. That's probably going to be both of their days done, and I don't think Race Control is going to look back very nicely at the 2 car after that stunt. Once again, we'll take a look at it here from another view. That is not who I clicked. Yeah, that is not who I clicked. What are we looking for? Daryl Klotz. So what you can see here is you see the 2 go high for whatever reason. So you see the 48 dive low, and the 2 just decides, hey, I want the bottom side. I'm going to go to the bottom side. Just hooks a hard left, doors the 48. Actually didn't look like he was going to go into that line. It also almost looks once again intentional. It's going to take both of them out of the race here.
I'm trying to ride on cam with the 2 car right now to see what happened, and it just
I kind of would like to do that.
to me it seems like he just, it doesn't look like he turned extra. It seems like he just went high and just kept turning down, like he didn't have the call out that someone was there.
It's just weird because normally you see them start to straighten out as they go low, and you see them just hook down, and it just keeps. That is once again not who I clicked.
Yeah, he kept that wheel turning left through that corner, and
so Weiland comes out of the corner. He just never turns the wheel right.
yeah, even went on the straight. He just kept it to the left.
Yeah, I don't think Race Control is going to be very happy with that move from the 2 car.
I don't think Corey's going. I don't think Randy's going to be too happy with that.
I don't think Randy's going to be happy about it either. So
that just took one of his cars out, because I mean I don't think that damage is going to be repairable after that.
I don't
either
think so
of those
either.
cars.
Actually, it does say Weiland is out on my timing board, so looks like Terry Weiland will no longer be in the race. So we have a request if Callahan has damage. I don't think so. He's been up there. Not at least not that I've seen. So we'll have to see what the 18 can do. He really hasn't. I mean, he was a contender at the end of stage 1. So I mean, he currently is P7. He was in that lead pack, I believe, near the end of that lead pack. So really, I just don't think they had the numbers on the top side when Callahan and Jordan were up there. So that's
no,
likely
and I mean, I got to give them props because they've tried their hardest to keep that top side going. It's just no one really wanted to jump in, and the people that did jump in, they really didn't have the line down 100%, so it cost them a lot of time in those corners.
And I think right now, one of the things that matters most is you got to look at how many laps are left. It's not a lot. It's probably about half of the stage. So you have to wonder how aggressive some of these guys are going to be, if aggressive at all. They might, once again, wait until like 5 to go out and do something. So, okay, so according to Race Control, the 2 lagged out of the race. So likely a tab popped up and it just stopped reading the wheel input, and that's why the wheel just kept turning left. But like I said, the 2 of Weiland is out. The damage was unrepairable. So it looks like we are about to go green here. Looks like we'll be 16 laps to go to the end of the stage. Nick Tucker will be your leader in the 54 car. Looks like Jordan Parker's going to choose the outside, even though it's not really the desirable lane for the restart. So we'll have to see what he does here. It worked for him last time. He's got a Chevy in front of him of the 09 of Isaiah Fox, so we'll have to see what he can do here.
I wonder if he's going to hope that low line doesn't go and be able to shoot that gap and get him behind that 54. I think that's really his goal right now. Whether the 54 is in the lead or the 54 is pushing him, he'd just rather be in second place.
Right. So I think really right now the goal is to be up there and just put himself in a position for the next 16 laps, but we'll really have to see what he's able to do here and if he's able to get some of these spots back up on the restart. As we wait for the pace car to pull back onto pit road. We've actually only had 2 cautions for cause today. Obviously, we did have the extended caution at the end of stage 2 because of some incidents in turn 1 under pacing. But only 2 incidents for cause, or 2 cautions for cause today. As Nick Tucker's going to go into the restart zone here. The 09 of Isaiah Fox on his outside. As Tucker gets into the restart zone, we'll see when he decides to shoot off. Looks like he's going to go in the middle of the box here. He's going to get a decent jump on the 8 of Morton. It looks like the 09 of Isaiah Fox not going to go away quietly. He's going to go down to the bottom, leave the 9 of Parker out to dry. That's not the restart that Parker wanted, as the 09 bailed on him as soon as he could. However, the Parker is likely going to have a hole to slot into here in 5th on the bottom side, and he will slide down. This looks like the 8 of Morton is actually going to go to the top side to try to go around the 09 of Isaiah Fox. Looks like Tucker will try to cover off both lanes with 16 to go here. Parker is actually going to push Morton. Tucker is still trying to cover both lanes. Parker with a massive push to Morton.
Insane push going into that corner as well.
Looks like Tucker's going to choose to block the top side. So Tucker committed to the top side. The 09 of Isaiah Fox able to get under the 54. The 54 looks like he's able to clear the 09. Not yet. Still trying to get ahead. Looks like that top side is starting to fall off. The 2 RFD cars, the 22 and the 4, have both gone to the top side. 22 is 3 laps down. Only the 4 car for RFD is on the lead lap. The 8 and the 54 are clear to the bottom, leaving the 9 of Parker to hang on the outside once again. The 2 RFD cars have to decide to push Parker or go to the outside of him. Looks like for now they decide to push the 9 of Parker. We'll have to
Probably
see
a
what
wise
happens
decision.
here.
Even though the high line hasn't really been doing much, at least you're not losing. You'll kind of make up here and there. Maybe if there's a slot open, you jump in and get it. Maybe a position or 2. But they're still in contention right now.
I just think that moving to the top was not the move that Parker wanted to make. It's actually, maybe I'm gonna bite my tongue here, as he's starting to get a run here on the top. So we'll have to see if Rainey's actually able to push him to the lead. Rainey was one of the best topside pushers when we went to Daytona. Like we said, he was able to win in Atlanta. So we'll have to see what the 4 of Rainey is able to do here when he's second in line on the top. So right now, Parker leads the top line. Tucker leads the bottom. Parker up to 3rd. Now fighting for 2nd with the 8 of Morton. Parker's gotten a massive run over the last lap. Now fighting with the 54 of Tucker for the lead. However, the inside line is a lot more bunched up than this top side, so they're going to have a little bit of a run off the corner. Parker's going to get ahead. Rainey is just probably one of the best pushers, and the fact that he's in a Ford makes it that much easier for the 4 of Rainey. Parker's going to go back to the lead after falling all the way back to 9th for a little bit. You'll see the 56 of Ryder Morgan go all the way to the bottom.
Parker's going to need to be starting to fight and dig deep here if he wants to get clear of that low line.
Yeah, Rainey needs another one of those massive pushes into 3 right here. We'll have to see what he's able to do. Parker's already fallen all the way back to 4th. It's about 2 tenths behind the 54 of Tucker. Continuing to lose some time, so maybe Corey's engine beginning to overheat. Not able to get as much of a push in as he'd like. Parker continuing to lose time, now 4 tenths back.
You got to wonder if Parker's going to stay in this high line or if he's going to jump down in the next gap possible.
I mean, I think all chaos breaks loose soon, so I don't know how long it's going to matter, really. I think anyone realistically in the top 5 with 1 to go has a chance to win. So it's really just positioning yourself. And I mean, I won from 8th in the Daytona race because the top 7 all wrecked. So, I mean, there's always the chance that you could have someone like Callahan, who's in 11th, way behind this pack, go out and win the race because the top 10 all wrecked. So we'll have to see here as Parker continues to lose time on the top side. I think that top line has finally started to die out. It's lost all of its momentum. He's now 0.6 behind the leader.
We're coming to the line for 10 to go.
No, I'm a lap behind you.
Are you a lap behind?
No.
No, mine actually might be a lap behind.
No, you'd be a lap ahead.
Actually, yeah, I might. Hold on, let me see.
Anyway, the 54 of Tucker continues to lead the 8 of Morton. Looks like the 09 might look for a move to the outside. That might pull the 9 of Parker up. Never mind, he goes back down to the bottom. So
It is a lap ahead.
Yeah, so the Tucker continues to lead the 9 of Parker. I don't know if yours is weird then. Are you on lap? You should be on lap like... You should be on lap...
I'm reporting
right
84.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
So
you're on the
check
right lap.
yourself
You're
now.
just doing the math wrong. So, because I have a thing that tells me how many to go. All right, so 9 of Parker starting to get a run once again. He's within 1/10 of the leader now over the last lap. So he's going to go once again to try and make a run on the 54 of Tucker. We'll have to see if he's able to get there. He's drawn even with the 54 once again. Last time he drew even, he fell all the way back to about 0.6 before he got another run. Looks like Rainey's going to try and push the 9 clear here down the backstretch. The 9 is ahead of the 54. Still not clear yet. Still not clear yet. Still trying to get clear. Looks like the 4 is able to get him, and he gets all the way to the front and down to the bottom. He's going to leave the 4 to dry. As the 4 had gotten so far ahead of his teammate that top line is going to fall all the way to the back now. So a great move for the 9 of Parker.
54 gave him an incredible bump there. I thought that was going to break him loose for a second.
Well, the big thing is the fact that now the top 3 have a massive gap to the 09 of Fox, who's kind of shown that he's not afraid to make that move to the top side. So you have to wonder if the 09 of Fox starts to kind of try and make these moves to go to the front, as we're 9 laps to go in the race right now. The 9 back to the lead over the 54, over the 8, over the 09, and the 55 and the 4 fighting for P5 right now. We'll have to see what they're able to do here. If the top line can start to get moving again, I don't think that'll happen for at least a few more laps. Parker really needs to start worrying about those directly behind him. So if he gets shuffled to that top side, there's no telling if Rainey will actually push him now that he's left Rainey out to dry. So it looks like everyone's started to bunch up once again. Looks like Morton might get a run here on the 54 of Tucker here. We'll have to see if Morton goes to the top. Him and Rainey have worked together a few times here. It looks like Rainey's going to get to the outside of Morton soon. Morton may not have the opportunity to go to that high side. We'll have to see what Morton decides to do here.
That high side's probably going to lose a lot of momentum coming out of this corner if they don't hold that line together. Use some of that side draft as well.
And it looks like the 8 decides to stay on the bottom for now. He may decide to slide up on the backstretch, but for now I think he's content sitting in 3rd. Still has a chance to win this thing if it were the white flag now. So actually this top side is going to start to get a little bit of a run. Broadfoot starting to push the 4 of Rainey. Rainey obviously wanting to get back up to the 9 of Parker, who left him out to dry earlier after getting to the lead. So Tucker kind of in charge of keeping Parker ahead of these RFD Ford Mustangs. The only real teammates left in the field other than the 3 Tricon cars who haven't worked together all day. You have the 15 of John Lewis, the 11 of Lucas Lewis, and the 55 of Gage Burns. The 56 of Ryder Morgan in the part-time car, not really anywhere to be seen, and then the 51 of Caleb Hess involved in that early incident.
Uh-oh, here comes Rainey.
As Rainey gets to the outside of the 9 of Parker, once again has the faster in the faster lane right now. He's all the way ahead of Parker, trying to get his teammate of Broadfoot clear before he goes down.
He was just there, but not all the way, and it's just amazing teamwork. That 22 car is lapped down in 15th position, pushing his team owner right now. About to clear Jordan if they can, that top line can actually hold it together for at least another lap or 2.
I think what's really helping this top line is the fact that Morton's not really able to connect at all with this 54 of Tucker, whereas the 7 of Carroll's kind of either deciding to give the 22 space or getting all up on his bumper, and I think that's really what matters. Is you see the 7 start to get to the back of the 22 here on the back straight.
It is close. I think Rainey is clear. When is he going to go down?
Yeah, Rainey is clear. Rainey is clear. The question is Broadfoot When you see one of those cars go down, you'll see both. Rainey gets stuck.
Uh-oh.
Broadfoot is able to get back down behind Rainey. I thought Carroll was actually going to put Broadfoot 3 wide there for a second. So the top side loses a lot of momentum. It's got to get all of that built back up so they can try and make another run for the lead. Coming to 5 to go here at the end of this race. 5 laps to go for Jordan Parker and the other cars behind him as that top side has fallen all the way back to the 11 of Lewis, all the way back to P8.
If the pressure wasn't on for Jordan then, it is definitely on now.
Yeah, especially after seeing the 54 make the move on the 8 earlier this race. You have to wonder if the 9 is thinking about what he has to do to block a move like that.
Seems like some of these guys are getting a little squirrely, though, going into that corner.
Yeah, it looks like the Fords are pretty set on this top line right now, except for the 64 of Thomas Adams. You still have both the RFD Mustangs and the 7 of Brennan Carroll. And then you have pretty much everybody else in this bottom line. This looks like the Fords are actually starting to make a little bit of a move here. Obviously, them being on their own, they don't have to check up as much whenever the leader gets pushed and stuff, so a little bit easier for them. As we are now 4 to go for the race, we'll have to see if these Fords are able to do anything to the 9. Oh, the 7's around!
Under caution.
And the 7 car goes around Brendan Carroll. And we're going to take a look here. Looks like netcode from the 15 takes out the 7. 7 goes nose first into the outside wall. So a netcode crash may have put Jordan Parker's race in jeopardy. However, we will go into overtime here for the final start of this race. So we'll have to see what happens here. Obviously, we're 4 to go right now, coming to 3 to go. We'll probably have 2 to 3 laps under caution.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate there. Netco accident. You know, he was running clean, running clear, about 4 to go. All he had to do is really hold in, hold tight. And the race really could have been his, but now, you know, it's down to really the wire at this point.
And really now it's anybody's game because you're going to have 2 laps and everyone's going to be together now. So Callahan, who was several seconds behind this pack, now has the chance to go out and win this race in another late restart like he did at Vegas. So while we wait for these guys to rack up and get ready to go green, we are going to cut to one final commercial for tonight as we get ready to go into overtime. Alright, and that was the last commercial of the night as we once again wait to go green. As actually we have another car spun back there. I don't know who that is. It looks... Actually, that might have been the... Wait, that's actually the 8 of Morton. Maybe he's just... Looks like he just pulls off. The 8 of Morton pulls off, maybe having to deal with something right now. Oh! Maybe more. Oh yeah, Morton's back, so obviously he was having to deal with some sort of issue. So, what that issue is, not my business. So, he is back. I believe we will do choose cone this time. I want to see if I can... Who's on track? He's on track. The race official. I wanna
Yeah, race car number 13.
I wanna see if I can find. Yeah, the choose cone. This is the one I want. Had to reset his wheels, what Mark Morton had. So this right here, this angle is all I care about right now for the overtime. Where are they?
Beautiful choose cone angle.
I know. So we're just waiting on these guys currently. You may see them coming off of, I guess, what would be pit road. Should be soon here. As you can see them now, coming to the choose car because they don't have a cone. But I'm sure Ryan Preece would love that if they did.
If they can't supply a cone, supply your own.
All right, you see the pace car go by. It looks like
Gordon's
Parker will
going
choose
low.
low, Tucker high, Martin high. You see a lot of these guys pretty split, but mostly to the bottom. You
Rainey's
see all the
still going
Toyotas. So all the
Looks like
Callahan
Callahan
Toyotas to the
following through.
top, all the Tricon Toyotas to the bottom. And that was the choose cam that I've never used before. Alright, so 2 to go here. At the end of this race, we'll have to see what happens here. It's probably going to be chaos, but we'll have to see. So the 9 of Parker will be the control car. The 54 of Tucker has worked with him all night, but wants to go for the win in his first start in the NARAS Cup Series. So we'll have to see what he's able to do.
Only 6 cars on that top line with the remaining 11 starting on that bottom here. This is going to give Jordan that edge. We're just going to have to see how he restarts. He doesn't want to get too much of a jump here because that's going to give the competition an edge as well.
Right, but at the same time, you also have the 09 of Isaiah Fox behind you. We've seen how aggressive he's been on these restarts, so I really don't know how much of a safety nut you really have with the 09. So, I mean, I think Jordan's really going to be on his own here at the end of this race. As we wait for the pace car to turn onto pit road here. We wait for what could be the final restart. We will go green with 2 to go in overtime. As they come off of 4.
Tensions are high, and there's a race win on the line.
You have to wonder if this won't be the final restart we have tonight, as Jordan Parker is going to start heading into the restart zone here on the tri-oval, as he is going to control the field here coming to green. He doesn't want too big of a jump. Looks like he's going to go in late, actually. Maybe try and get the flagman so that it helps him, but I think that's actually going to hurt him because the 3 on the top are a lot closer than the 3 on the bottom here. It's like Gage Burns might get a run on that bottom side on the 09. The 09 completely disconnected from the 9 of Parker. The 54 and the 8 are already connected, and it looks like the 54 is actually going to clear on the outside of Jordan Parker on the restart. I think that's the 3rd restart we've seen where that top side is able to get around. It looks like the 8 will also get clear to the bottom. So it looks like the 8... Oh, that entire top side is going to get clear. Looks like the 4 might get clear as well. Parker might go from 1st to 4th before you even finish the lap.
They're going to shoot down here and leave Rainey high and dry.
Looks like they have Callahan behind Rainey now.
09's finally pushing Jordan. Hurt on it.
Jordan's going to go for a move here. He's not willing to wait. The 09 looks like he's going to go back to the bottom. Going to leave the Chevy out to dry. Burns going to go to the bottom here. The 09 and the 9 alone.
09 straddling Jordan's car. It's not giving him full potential in draft there. It's going to cost him a lot.
The 09 is hanging too far off the back. The 09 too busy blocking the Rainey machine. Looks like Rainey's going to go to the middle. Parker's going to get turned almost. Oh, and Parker gets turned.
Oh, no.
In for the lead, Nick Tucker. This looks like Tucker, Morton, Burns, Adams, Lewis. Coming to the checkered. Morton in his 2nd start, maybe looking for a move here on the 54 of Tucker. Tucker going to block.
Huge bump for Morton.
Morton looks to the outside of Tucker. And Morton looks like he's going to get around the outside of Tucker. Morton's going to win the race.
Morton is clear.
Mark Morton wins the NARAS Cup Series race at Talladega in his second ever start. Jordan Parker, who was leading on the final restart, gets wrecked at the end and finishes 10th. Nick Tucker finishes 2nd. Gage Burns 3rd. Thomas Adams finishes P4. Lucas Lewis P5. David Callahan P6. Ryder Morgan P7. Christopher France in P8. Isaiah Fox in 9th. And then Jordan Parker in 10th. So that'll round out your top 10 for tonight. Once again, Mark Morton will make a move on the final lap to win the race around the outside of Nick Tucker. As we take a look at this 8 car.
Pre-race briefing. I told you in our pre-race briefing, I had my eye on that 8 car tonight, and boy, did he not prove me wrong.
Yeah, I like it when you get proved wrong. It makes me feel better. So I don't even think I made a pick tonight. I kind of forgot that part. But you see the 8 of Morton start to burn it down. Well, maybe not burn it down. He might just... Oh, he's going to burn it down. The 8 of Morton starts to burn it down here on the front stretch, as he is going to have his first career win and will lock into the playoffs.
You just got to think what is going through Jordan's mind right now.
I think what's going through Jordan's mind right now is I'm going to kill the 09, because the 09 really is what caused that 9 of Parker to kind of fall back. It just, he had no one working with him really at the end of that race.
Isaiah really didn't seem like he kind of knew what he wanted to do there. He didn't know if he wanted to stay the low line and try to gain position there, if he wanted to go high and push Parker and gain position. He looked like he was kind of torn in between two, and that unfortunately cost them a lot in this race.
Yeah, and it's just... It seemed like the 09 of Fox was more concerned about blocking the 4 of Rainey than actually helping his line, and that's what caused that outside line to fall apart, and that's what ended up causing that wreck in 1 and 2 here. So, just kind of a conflict in interests. And, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start the interview process. We're going to start with the 55 of Gage Burns. So we're going to go ahead and pull him up now. Gage, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Alright, so you finally get the interview that you keep asking me for. So obviously it's your first P3.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how do you view a night like tonight, which kind of got chaotic right there at the end?
Man, it was honestly, for me, it was pretty good. I just tried to hold my line, I ran the inside the whole time, and it worked out for me, Right at the end, I was pushing the 8 a lot, trying to get him out of my way, but couldn't get him, but, I got 3rd and couldn't be happier.
Alright, well, obviously, I think that's the best. Is that the best result for Tricon yet, or is... I think it's up there.
I think so, yeah.
So...
Oh, wait, no, I think Lucas got 2nd at Kansas. I could be wrong, though.
No, I think Callahan got
great
2nd.
Oh, okay.
So
it
was a Toyota, I know that. But yeah, so I mean that's your best finish with Tricon. I think it's your best finish in the series ever. So I mean, is there anything else you could have done to finish 2 spots better, or do you think 3rd is the best you had tonight?
I think I could have done a little more, but I'm not going to be hard on myself for it. But I think I could have pushed a little harder, but I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to be too aggressive and be one of the guys that just wrecks everyone. But I got 5th in stage 1, 4th in stage 2, and then 3rd in the last stage. So I ain't complaining.
All right. So, I mean, obviously we have the next 2 weeks off before Charlotte. So I mean, how do you prepare the next, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks for the Coke 600?
Well, it's going to be a lot of Tricon practice. We can get out there, get on the track, see for what we can do. Team practice, pit practice, all of that. See how fast we can get, and kind of take it easy maybe the first week. But yeah.
Do you have anybody you think is going to be a major threat for you at Charlotte?
I don't think so. I don't try to be mean to anyone. So.
I meant more like winning, not like wrecking.
Oh, winning. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there. I think Callahan's pretty fast at Charlotte. Definitely Caleb. Caleb's fast at Charlotte. I know he didn't have the best race today, which I feel horrible about. He definitely deserved to do better, but I think he would do good at Charlotte.
All right, well, we are going to go ahead and let you go back to your team, VC.
All right.
Congratulations on 3rd tonight.
Thank you.
That is... I can find the VC. That is Gage Burns in the 55 for Tricon Garage, finishing third. We're going to go ahead and now speak with second place finisher Nick Tucker. It might not be the one he wanted, but it's the one he's getting. Nick, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. Do you got me?
How's it going, fellas? What a race, right?
So, I mean, you kind of wish it would have ended one lap sooner. I think Callahan wished it ended one lap sooner. So, I mean, is there anything you could have done differently that final lap, or are you happy with the second place?
Well, I'm first and foremost, I'm very happy with where I finished. Coming into this race, being a wild card race, anybody can win at any point in time. It's definitely nerve-wracking. But as far as, I wish the race would have ended one lap sooner, not really, because, I mean, if it was one lap shorter, Mark would have made the move one lap before, so it just sucks that this is how it had to end, but congrats to Mark. He made a great move there in the tri-oval, and I had nothing for him there. He was just, once he got next to me, it was over.
I mean, obviously you had a good points day. I think you were first, and then were you second in the stage, and then you were second in the race. So I think you ended up with 45. You ended up with 54 points on the day. So it's a good points day for you, and I think that puts you in a position to kind of fight for your way into the playoffs, even on points. Starting, 5 races behind, I think you still have a chance here. So
yeah. I mean, today was fantastic in terms of a points day. Just those 5 races I wasn't here, that really just is the killer there. So we're just gonna keep coming out and racing as hard as we can each and every week, and that's all we can really do.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and let you go, and hopefully we'll talk to you back at Charlotte.
Yes, sir, and thanks, guys. You guys put on a great broadcast.
Thank you. I don't remember who he raced. Okay, he races for Callahan. Okay. We're going to go ahead and talk to our race winner. He's actually in a VC this time. The number 8 of Mark Morton. Mark, this is Owen and Tyler in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you. I apologize about the loud horn.
You're fine. It's like the winning horn.
Yep, yep.
So, I mean, how do you approach what was your thought process on the final lap there of that race?
So I was expecting the outside line to stay up there with us. If the outside line was up there, I was going to just push the 54 all the way through. But there was a gap between me and the 55 coming off of 4, and then once I got a good run coming off of 4, I kind of just I backed up, and then once I got that run, I side drafted him, and then I stepped away to where I was able to pull off the pass.
All right, well, I mean, I believe this was your second start, because your first start was at Kansas, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So, I mean, obviously you I don't believe you had the finish you wanted at Kansas. I think you were involved in an incident. So, I mean, this is a good comeback for you. I mean, now you're in the playoffs, so, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
You can't really be upset with it. So...
No.
I mean, how do you approach... I mean, now that you're locked in the playoffs, it does take a little bit of, I guess, pressure off of you for the rest of the season. But, how do you approach the following races until the playoffs start?
I mean, elbows up and just keep on going forward. I mean, this is my second race here, obviously. I was with God dang it, I forgot that league. But it was the whole spiel with Jordan. I went over there, nothing against them. I just had bad luck, and Jordan brought me back over here because my teammates left over there because they were having bad luck. So I didn't want to be by myself. Didn't really bond with anybody over there. So I was like, you know what? I'll just come over here. And I was hoping I was able to maybe possibly work with a team, but it's just solo dolo over here. And as you could see, stage one where I just went from first to eighth in like a half a lap. Um, but I mean, I'm just gonna try and mind my p's and q's, and try and get as many as I can before the this playoff starts. I mean, having a win in my pocket does help me to where I could do a little off strategy. Um, See if that helps me get a win. But I'm just trying to improve my resume because it's especially with tracks like these, it sucks racing by yourself and a team by yourself. So hopefully, I can I put up a good show enough to where somebody will let me be on their team. I'm lonely.
I was not expecting that to finish it off, but obviously it don't matter how lonely you are in the race if you win it. So obviously next year there's always a chance you can get some teammates, and maybe that'll give you an even better chance. So I mean, we saw even some of those teams that had teammates didn't have them at the end, like the 9 of Parker. He didn't have anybody. A lot of the Tricon guys were kind of split up. Callahan, they didn't have anybody. So even those who have teammates, sometimes it matters where they are. And you kind of ended up in a position where everyone was on a different team, and I think that definitely played into your favor. So
yeah,
I mean, the good thing is I think we only have one more super speedway until the playoffs, so you kind of don't have to worry about the team game as much. So I mean, you can go out and just do your thing until the playoffs start.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. And I do want to apologize to Jordan. I did tell him I was going to work with him, and then because he didn't have any teammates and I didn't have any teammates, so I was like, I'll work with him. And then I guess in a way I kind of end up meshed a little bit better with the 54, so I just kind of stuck with him, and I left Jordan out to dry, and he got the worst end of it. Um, Jordan is really the only person that I know here. So I mean, I definitely he's a little upset with me, but I definitely owe him one. I felt bad, but I mean, it's racing. At the end of on the last lap, it doesn't matter who your teammates are. It's every man for himself.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations tonight. We're going to go ahead and let you go. Before you go, is there anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yes, first and foremost, my beautiful wife for sitting right next to me and watching me the whole race. So that's going to be a tradition that we now have. You guys for taking time out of your Saturday night to broadcast this race. Jordan for the league, and everybody else in the league for competitive racing. You guys are awesome and a really good broadcast team, and I always look forward to watching the stream back.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations for your win tonight, and we will see you at Charlotte.
All right, boss man. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you too.
You too. Hopefully we get to talk to you then again.
Hey, it would be my honor to come up here with you guys.
All right. Well, that is the 8 of Mark Morton. Once again, your race winner tonight. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the final standings one last time, because I haven't seen it enough times. Mark Morton finishes in victory lane. Nick Tucker finishes second. Gage Burns for Tricon finishes third. Thomas Adams finishes fourth. Lucas Lewis for Tricon will finish fifth. David Callahan will finish sixth. Ryder Morgan will finish seventh despite car issues. Christopher France will finish 8th. Isaiah Fox will finish 9th. Jordan Parker will finish 10th. John Lewis 11th. Corey Rainey 12th. James Parsons 13th. Brendan Carroll 14th. Brandon Broadfoot 15th. Christian Mullen 16th. Caleb Hess 17th. Terry Weiland in 18th. And then after that, you have got Caleb Hess in 17th. I already did Weiland. Daryl Klotz in 19th, Joey Beam in 20th, Taylor Ott in 21st, Matt Bryant in 22nd, Lipe, I'm not sure, in 23rd, and Carden Carden Hansen 24th, and Dave Stinson, who was disqualified, although I think that will likely get reinstated, in 26th. Well, I guess 25th, because race control is the shoes car. So, once again, your winner is going to be the 8 of Mark Morton tonight, and we will catch y'all in a few weeks at Charlotte.